Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever signed. Right here.
You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about it.
I don't think I've ever said this before.
So Trump just went after George Soros and he should be charged with RICO?
He's saying that George Soros and his wonderful radical left son should be charged with RICO.
Well, we got a lot of things going on. He also wants 600,000 Chinese students to come from Beijing.
Not a fan.
To come to school here.
Not
well, I want to hear your thoughts
600,000?
Not 600, not 6,000, not 60,000.
Not practice.
100,000
to come here. And yesterday, it was amazing when I sat with Prime Minister Bibi. I've never had so many friendly messages in my DM.
Me too. And I wasn't even on it.
I mean, they were giving me wishes for my family. They were hoping I would live a long time. Nothing that was about life and death or anything like that.
Nothing.
It was just a very logical, critical, I didn't like it, but you were fair. It was so much love that came out of it that was amazing.
It was a love
You know what I got?
What'd you get?
Which was awesome.
Let's hear it.
Health advice, dieting advice.
Yeah.
One guy was like, eat crap like for the rest of your life. And I was like,
well, I mean, that's the part. You
Guys,
know,
I have no clue you're talking about. I've never seen any meme messages
no matter
ever.
what they say, here's the difference. One side, if you criticize Israel, because I've done both in the last 12, 18 months, and trust me, I've housed a lot of people that they're not happy. You know, oh my God, no matter who's up there, one side wants to, you know, call you that you took money from Qatar and you did this. The other side wants to kill you. Okay, there's a big difference in the way of messaging, and it's the biggest filter when I go through commentary. Last night on X, I opened it up. I said I'm going to go 30 minutes Q&A. Ask me anything.
That was
and
great.
I went through
You were
it.
very open with them.
I was open with whatever you wanted to ask. Hey, did you get paid? Did you do this? Did you do that? We got a bunch of different people that were asking questions, and I responded to quite a few of them. I went for an hour. It was great talking to the guys about what it was like. We'll talk about today as well, maybe some of the things that.
Pat, by the way, I know obviously you didn't get paid to do this, but
a life-changing money.
I did.
Has a Ferrari.
I got a lot of money now.
A Ferrari.
By the way, here's what's crazy.
I did an Uber Lux today, guys.
Here's the funniest part, Rob. You know what's the funniest part about this interview? And there's only one person that can say this. Rob, how many people are thinking Adam booked this interview?
Seriously?
No. Yes. People are thinking you booked the interview.
Yeah.
Rob, how much did Adam have with booking this interview?
0.
Who booked the interview?
Tony.
A different guy.
Yes.
Okay.
He's not even here.
Yeah, but the point is the fact that when we told him, it's like, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
It was like that kind of a situation. Same with Trump. But these are the types of stories when people say, those guys are paid by Qatar. No, they're not. Those guys are paid by Israel. They're not. 99.9% of people are not paid by anybody. The power of bots is a real thing. There is no question about the bot game. Some people have a very, very good bot game. You'll just see the comments and you're like, how come you've never had a post?
Yeah.
How come nobody really follows you? You want me to believe you're a real account? The bot machine is so flippin' powerful that they can literally, I had a guy one time I went to in LA. He says, let me tell you what machine I have. He says, I have a machine that customers, he says, politicians. I don't know if you remember when, was it Newt Gingrich that got caught? Having 1.2 million followers that he bought or something. Rob, can you pull up, was it Newt Gingrich that bought some followers? I don't want to throw him under the bus. Newt Gingrich, probably a nice guy.
Late.
But one of these politicians had bought. It was Obama, like 55% of his followers on X were fake and all these other things that you looked at. And you go to this guy's place and he's showing, there was a campaign that was going to Gawker to purchase. Oh, there you go. Look at this. Estimated 90% of the followers were fake in 2012.
Was it Newt?
No, but the point is, this model
Gingrich.
Exists. Yeah, Newt, it was Newt Gingrich? Shit, I thought I got it wrong. Good. That's been a long time. I still remember.
Pat, I have a genuine question. What are the bots? I see these things. I click on them. You know, it says the most outlandish comment. But then it's 0 posts, 4 followers.
Yeah.
What are these people?
It's effective, though. It is effective.
But they're just fake? They're propaganda?
Buddy,
What are they?
It is so effective. I can't even describe to you how effective it is.
It's fake profiles.
There's a couple guys that on podcasters, they, 2 million new followers and 1 million new followers and 600,000 new followers. Now, let me tell you who really got some new followers. By the way, let's give some love. Just last Friday, Valuetainment Comedy had 475,000 subscribers.
Oh, yeah.
This funny guy named Vincent Oshana.
I know.
Okay? In his All his animals that live on the campus here, by the way. If you guys don't know this, we got like hundreds of animals here. This is Vinny's model. Valuetainment Comedy went from 475,000 followers on Friday to 652,000 subscribers today.
So sick.
I think Valuetainment Comedy is going to be a 10 million subscriber channel. And I told Vinny, I said, it's going to get to 10 million before Valuetainment Main does. There's something about comedy. People are just so sick and tired of this all. They just want to laugh, man. People are like, dude, just make me laugh a little bit.
Look at our
and
guy.
Vinny's good at doing that.
Guys,
Can
go
we see one of the
subscribe
animals?
to
Rob,
my
go to the most
friend's
popular one. Go to the most popular one.
Rob, keep going down, Rob. Keep going down, Rob. Keep going. Keep going. Where is he? Up. I'm sorry. Up. This guy right. Oh, Rob, I don't want to get the wrong one. That him in the cave right there.
Second one. No, not that one. Go back one.
Rob, you
no,
Go back
dropped
one.
the gun,
That's the
Rob.
one.
This is
Watch
one?
this.
All right,
Get
go
the
ahead.
right gerbil, Rob.
Stop what? I'm not even doing anything. So who is that? Your girlfriend? She's cute. What? I was being polite. Fine, she's not cute. You first. What? Cat's got your tongue? No thanks. I don't eat.
Oh my God.
Stop.
And he still can't
Who
get,
That was the old one. We picked out the
get
old
it
one.
out of his.
Can you put the
Vinny.
link, Pat, so they can
Yeah, for
sub?
sure. No, go
Anyway,
subscribe.
Dr.
Just go-
Doolittle over
just
here.
Go find
His
Valuetainment
channel's blowing
Comedy.
up. Give him a,
It's so funny.
Give him a follow, subscribe.
But anyways, going back to it, the reality when you're asking a question like that does exist. Let me go through some of the stories of what we have here. If you notice, we talked for the longest time about the flag burning. I don't like the flag burning. Finally, the president made it a law that if you burn the American flag, you're going to get a 1-year sentence to prison. By the way, not a lot of people are happy about it. I am. I'm one of the guys that's fully supportive of something like this. We'll talk about that. Sharpton. Tom just called him earlier, but Sharpton, Trump only threatening cities with black mayors, race dog whistling. Would you like to give the phone number out right now, Tom, with people watching?
You can reach
No, you
out
don't wanna do-
Sharpton at.
No. We don't want to do that. So let's just
Tom,
continue.
go
going.
ahead.
Trump opens to DOJ probe into former New Jersey Governor Christie over the Bridgegate scandal. Got away with murder. I have some thoughts on that. Trump attacks NBC and ABC networks, wants FCC to revoke their license. Holy shit. Donald Trump says he wants to meet with Kim Jong-un again as he hosts South Korean president. Trump defends $11 billion Intel stake, says he will make this deal all day long. And I understand that, but I have some thoughts. I know, Tom, you do as well. Trump removes
I'm with you.
Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook from office, citing fraud allegations. Sharpton, I already said that. D.C. goes 12 straight days, folks, without a murder, following Trump's capital crime crackdown, okay? 600,000 Chinese students they want to allow here. He warns he would destroy China, but wants a great relationship with Xi. You know what? I want to destroy Xi anytime I want, but I want to be friends with them.
And
He's
what a
like,
relationship.
I just
That
wanna-
would be good. A nice, beautiful relationship.
Tariff revenue will cut the U.S. deficit by $4 trillion over the next decade. Fiscal Watchdog says Federal Reserve minutes highlights split over effects of Trump's tariffs on inflation. Newsom's pin rising energy prices on Trump again, while California buckles under crushing rates. Political divide between young men and young women on dating app. 2.5 million people signed petition for illegal immigrant truck driver and fatal crash. We have to talk about that. We haven't talked about it. DeSantis made a good move. Vinny, I know you got some stuff that you want to say about that whole truck driver guy.
Yeah.
Ron DeSantis pulling license. We have to address it. Southwest, this is one of my favorite stories, and I actually agree with it. Earmuffs, folks. If you haven't gone to the gym for the last 6 months, you may want to put the earmuffs on. Southwest rolls out new conditions for plus-size passengers refunds, okay? So if you're a little bit big, something's going to happen, okay? And we're going to talk about that.
Big girls need love too.
Is this the beginning of the English Revolution? AP freelancer amongst 5 journalists killed in Israel strikes on Gaza hospital. Health officials say, we have to say this because this is the one that Bibi apologized for, right? Okay, I don't know if we can show the clip. We probably can't show it. No, we can't show the clip, Rob. Can we show the clip or we can't?
I can play for you guys so you guys can watch, but we shouldn't play for the audience.
Okay. So then Lil Nas X, Vinny's favorite guy, wears blue prison jumpsuit while leaving L.A. court. As it's revealed, police used taser to subdue him. Maybe he liked it.
He was having a
Maybe
great
he
time.
loved
He was
it.
having a
That
great
feels
time.
good. Google says Fox channel to go dark on YouTube if agreement isn't reached. And then this next one, I really, listen, they're men in high-powered jobs or unemployed more likely to cheat. Study finds. So the people in the middle are the most faithful ones. Guess who probably wrote that article? Guy probably in the middle. But we can talk about it anyways.
A woman who got cheated on.
That could be it as well. Her name would have to be Larry, though. So, okay. All right. Netanyahu says he recognizes the Armenian genocide. This is from the Times of Israel, where it's official that Israel has officially recognized. We'll talk about that as well. Crack a barrel. Stock jumps as company reversed the old logo after Trump weighs in. By the way, the way Trump did it was so great. Vinny was sharing it with us. Trump says he's removing Federal Reserve Board Governor Lisa Cook. That's a serious one. One of Tom's favorite stories. And then we got a few other things. Little Nas X even responded back after leaving jail and saying, your girl's going to be okay, y'all.
Your girl's going to be okay?
Gonna be okay, y'all. Your girl's going to be okay. All right, so let me tell you, this will be the last one I'll be doing here, but I'm excited about it, on what's going on. You guys know this before we get into the podcast. A lot to cover here today. Vault Conference around the corner. We're officially now, to be exact, I believe 13 days away from the Vault Conference. Myself, 12 days away. Myself, Tony Robbins. Rob, can you have one of the guys, or Kelly, run to my office and bring the manual? It looks, actually, no, they don't need to do that. I'm going to send you a video to show what the manual looks like. So I just shot a video of it yesterday. Kelly, you don't have to do it. I'm going to send this to you. Once a year we get together. I can't wait to see everybody this year. This is going to be the biggest one by a mile. Record-breaking attendance coming to this event here from all over the world. 3.5-day strategy session, business, all the stuff that we'll be doing. It's a very unique experience if you haven't been to it. Orlando Gaylord, if you want to get registered, go to thevaultconference.com. This year's sponsor, the title sponsor of this entire event is Goliath Ventures, founder Chris Delgado. We've spent a lot of time with these guys. They've come to Yankees games with us. They've been coming to Vault Conferences for the last God knows how many years. Goliath was founded in 2019, a private global equity firm focused on blockchain and decentralized finance, built on 3 pillars: technology, opportunity, and community. Core belief: blockchain is the foundation of a generational wealth shift. You can go search them, Goliath Ventures, Inc.com, to learn more about them. They'll be at the Vault Conference all over the place. But tonight, those of you that bought the ticket that are coming here, I told you it's going to be special. I'm going to whisper you for the last time. If you're around the Florida area, you want to come to the networking event tonight on the campus. Do you know we're going to have Ferrari SP3s here? I don't know if you know what an SP3 is. Rob, can you pull up what an SP3 is, Ferrari SP3? You're talking about Ferrari SP3.
We'll have a modern homage to a classic shape.
Finding this car, Vinny.
Holy moly.
It's a $5 million car. It'll be on the lot.
It's just pulling up.
We will have a LaFerrari on the lot. We will have multiple $5 million cars on the lot for you to come by and see. You'll have Senna's 1989 McLaren car. You'll have jets to get on and see for some of you guys that have CEOs and founder tickets. You will see the hangar opened up, bunch of new things that nobody's seen before. Anybody that's a platinum and an executive, you'll get a tour. Founders and CEOs, you'll get a tour from me. And then right afterwards, anybody that's platinum and executive up, you will be able to go to the cigar lounge to hang out with each other, have drinks, have conversations at the boardroom, obviously on the other side, and then platinum will be on the back. The members, boardroom members, but you'll get a chance to actually see the cigar lounge. This is the manual, by the way, Rob, if you want to play this clip. This year's Vault Conference.
Yeah, for those of you guys that are going to the Vault Conference, manual is here. This year it is 296 pages.
Holy moly.
Oh my goodness. We cannot wait to go through this with all of you at
wow, that looks amazing.
the Vault
That's right.
Conference.
You know when we start working on this manual?
There.
A week after the Vault ends for next year. That's when we start working on next year's conference. Yeah, so we can't wait to see everybody. Anyways, if you haven't yet registered, pretty much last chance. 12 days left to the event. Go to thevaultconference.com. Again, go to thevaultconference.com. It's becoming the #1 business event for serious growth because you actually get strategies on how to take your business and your life to the next level. Having said that, let's get right into it. All right, top story, Rob. What do we have as a top story on what they voted for?
The flag burning ban.
Okay, so let's go with the flag burning ban. So Trump flag burning order sparks online conservatives' free speech debate, which totally makes sense. President Trump's new executive order targeting flag burning announced on Monday directs the Attorney General to prosecute violations of law involving flag desecration and to pursue litigation that will clarify the scope of First Amendment as it relates to flag desecration. Rob, do you want to play this clip with the president? They're going back and forth explaining it.
Lastly, sir, this is an executive order on flag burning. It charges your Attorney General.
Would you listen to this? This is very important. Flag burning. All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag. And as you know, through a very sad court, I guess it was a 5-4 decision, they called it freedom of speech. But there's another reason, which is perhaps much more important. It's called death. Because what happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy. If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You could do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. You can, but when you burn the American flag, it incites riots at levels that we've never seen before. People go crazy. In a way, both ways. There are some that are going crazy for doing it. There are others that are angry about them doing it. Do you want to discuss that?
Sure. So what the executive order does, sir, it charges your Department of Justice with investigating instances of flag burning, and then where there's evidence of criminal activity, where prosecution wouldn't fall afoul of the First Amendment, and instructs the Department of Justice to prosecute those who are engaged in these instances of flag burning.
And what the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. No early exits, no nothing. You get 1 year in jail. If you burn a flag,
you can pause it right
and
there.
what it does is...
So you get 1 year in jail. Tom, Adam and Vinny, you guys got some thoughts on this. Vinny, I'm going to come to you first.
Yeah, and Rob, I sent you a video of one of my good friends who I kind of agree with her. But like when people say burning a flag is free speech, I know it's protected under the Constitution, but they're twisting what free speech actually is. Free speech is talking, writing, protesting, holding a sign, which a lot of people love holding signs. The second you light something in fire in public, it's actually illegal. The majority of the United States, if you don't have a permit to burn something out in public, if it's not a pit, if it's not, a controlled fire, it's illegal. Plain and simple. You can't light a bonfire. You can't start a freaking fire in the middle of the street and start grilling meat in the middle of the street. I'm being technical right now, okay? So why the hell should burning a flag and these people get a free pass? And don't forget, bro, our flag, and this is my opinion, you can say whatever the hell you want. It's not just a piece of fabric, okay? It's draped over freaking coffins of soldiers who go overseas and fight for the country, okay? They're folded, they're given to freaking families of veterans who get freaking killed for this country. I know what people are going to say, yeah, but they're over there fighting for the right for the person to come and burn it. You know what the hell you're doing. And Rob, you know who I never thought I'd say this in public or live on air. You know who I agree with and whose side I take on this whole thing? Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, one of my best friends, she actually said, you know what Hillary said back in the day in Congress? Rob, can you play that video of Hillary and what she said about flag burning? This is the first time I agree with her about anything.
So I hope, Mr. President, that we can pass a law that criminalizes flag burning and desecration. I agree that this burning, this desecration that can happen to our flag is something that people have a right to ask this body to try to prohibit and prevent. So
I'm going old school Hillary, Pat. I'm just like, something bothers me inside when I see that happening. Other people, other countries, whatever, burn, you do whatever the hell you want on another country. But when it happens here, it really pisses me off. Free speech, say whatever you want, hold whatever sign. When it comes to the flag, I'm anti-burning.
Adam, where are you at?
Well, burning the flag should be legal, but it should be a death sentence for the rest of your life. What do I mean? Under the under the First Amendment, you do have freedom of speech. I think there was a Supreme Court ruling that 5-4, which Trump mentioned, that you can burn the flag. However, you know how, like, if you go for a job interview and they're like, scrub your social media. Oh, this is what this person did. Anyone who burns the American flag, it should be on their resume and on their record forever. So you want to apply for this job. You burnt the American flag, Bill. What were you? Yeah, it was a bad day. Yeah, you're out. You want to go for a loan at the bank? Sorry, Carl, you burnt the flag, but yeah, this isn't gonna happen. You go to court, you go to the mall, you should be shamed unto infinity. There's 3 types of people that I think burn the flag. There's just radical leftists. We know what they are. They're usually doing this. There's foreign enemies. We see what happens in Iran. What do they always yell? Magba, America. Okay. And then there's anti-war activists. Here's my only problem with the anti-war activists. If the only war in the history of your life you've ever protested against is Israel, you probably aren't anti-war. You probably just hate Israel. So these are the types of people that burn the flag.
Tom, any thoughts?
Yes. So I have to listen carefully to what the president said. First of all, I will tell you the price of, and I've said this before, The price of free speech is free speech. You may not like what the other guy says, but that's the price of free speech. Now then, where's the line? The president used the word incite. Inciting riots is against the law. You cannot incite riots. You can have a demonstration. You can protest a war. You can protest a lot of things. You can get a permit, even at University of Alabama, and say you want to protest Israel. And you can have a lot of people surround you and suddenly realize that you're outnumbered and maybe call off your protest. That's free speech. And that's also public discourse coming back to talk to you. But the president was saying about inciting riots and then asking the Justice Department to investigate to see, were you desecrating the flag to incite a riot? If you are, guess what? We're not going to stand for that. And the 1 year in jail, I want to see how this shakes out, because I think you have free speech, but then you have inciting riots, and then you have going over that edge of the desecration, which incites the riots. And so it's like, hey, you went out there to have a demonstration, you burnt the flag, you incited a riot, and you got your butt kicked, and guess what? Sorry. You're going to get 1 year. I want to see it play out, but there's some logic that goes behind this and a lot of precedents that the president is pointing to. And thank you so much for the clip that Hillary Clinton seems to agree that what did she use the word? Desecration. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I mean, look, to me, it's very simple. If you don't love the country, you have other options. Go somewhere where you have pride. I love America. I served for this country because I love this place. This is a special place. It's the greatest country in the world. The Turning Point USA guys do a great job. These are one of the guys goes out there asking these college students. I don't know if you've seen this, just came out. Rob, can you play this clip? This defines my views of when they say is America the greatest country in the world. And then when the option is given, look how they respond. Go ahead, Rob.
America the greatest country in the world?
Absolutely not.
If you were offered a one-way ticket to leave the country, never come back, but it's all expenses paid, would you accept that offer?
Let's hear it.
I don't think that I would leave. I wouldn't leave either.
Oh, really?
Is America the
greatest? So, exactly. No, but that's the point, though. Everybody talks a lot of shit until eventually you're faced with a decision. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
I wouldn't leave. I wouldn't go anywhere. Or not limo driver, but people haven't used that phrase
Uber
for
driver.
Limo.
You're talking about in L.A.?
Our Filipino Uber driver. Oh, yeah. Where were we, Rob? We're in L.A.
We were in L.A. We were on our way to
driving around, and
Rafi's.
this guy's just like, we're having a conversation. And by the way, the Jubilee interview that's coming out this Sunday, we're having a conversation. It's like, No, I don't. I won't. I would take the money. I would leave. I won't. Why are you in America? Because, it's not as bad. You think it's a great country. And just listen to this guy. Mm-hmm. Then just leave. So if you want to burn the flag, I don't feel comfortable about it. By the way, other countries, China, if you burn the flag, 3 years in prison. Russia, fines or prison. India, prevention of insults to national honor, it's illegal. You can't do it. Saudi Arabia and many other Middle Eastern countries, strict bans, heavy penalties. Turkey, prison sentence or for insulting the national flag. Mexico, up to 4 years. Mm-hmm. Okay? So then you go Singapore, Malaysia, strong bans. There's a lot of different countries that have different laws for this. I'm glad America's finally putting it in place as well. But it is not a popular decision to make. And for those who don't support it, I get your argument as well. This is my line. Yep. Don't burn the flag. If you don't like it, go elsewhere.
I love those other countries. It says, don't even insult the flag.
Yeah. If you even do, you're going places.
Never mind burn it. You insult the flag.
In certain countries, you can't burn the flag, but you can burn people.
That's totally cool.
If you're apostate. You know what's interesting? This is what I've seen with, because I do my American flag thing and walk around and give to people. You know what I've realized? Everyone who hates America, everyone who basically has a massive distaste for America, they're always comparing America to utopia. Well, we're not the greatest country in the world. And anytime you give them all right, if not option A, option B, and option B is any other country, they never pick the other country. Yeah. Because there's no perfect country.
Let's move on to the next story. All right, Sharpton. Trump only threatening cities with black mayors. Okay, this is not going to end well for Sharpton. But let's play this clip here, Rob. I'm sure you got it, right? This is what Sharpton said about the president, I believe, on Morning Joe. Go ahead, Rob.
It's a lot talking about how I've condemned a lot of what was going on in Chicago back in the day and other points. It's not about crime. But when you have this consistent pattern that you're only going after black mayors, now you're going to fight West more. I mean, the pattern here is clear, particularly when the data shows that crime is down in these cities. And you should be saying, why can't I work with the mayors? The wise political strategy is to start picking off some of these mayors that can say, Trump's not that bad, we're working together. Right. He doesn't want that. And it's clear he's doing it at the expense of people.
Okay. So,
does that work, Pat? Does that work? Like Al Sharpton is just there to say everybody's racist. Like they just, every time anything like this comes out, they just wheel him out. And can we be honest with each other? He's talking about all the mayors of all these cities, and he's going after black. Okay, DC mayor is African American, correct? New York City mayor is what? African American. Philadelphia mayor, Sherelle Parker, African American. Los Angeles, Karen Bass, African American. Chicago, Brandon Johnson. Well, guess what? You guys are effing up. And I'm sorry, but when somebody points it out, you have to be like, oh, it's racist. No, he's not going after it because of the race. Clean up your effing city. For some reason, you guys just feel like, nah, let's just keep it crazy. Let's keep it dirty. Let's keep everybody on freaking welfare and everybody killing each other because we're going to keep getting federal funding. No, I'm tired of that. And I looked it up. I'm like, wait a minute. Is he really going after them because they're racist? Because he's racist? No, they're all African American. It seems like, hey, why aren't you taking care of your people in your city? Okay, everything is like, no, don't look at me. Look at me. Trump bad. No, you suck at your job, and that's what it is.
By the way, believe it or not, the way he put that, he brought the pressure on African American mayors of cities. So there's a pattern. It's not that he's targeting them. It's the fact that it's the African American mayors, for whatever reason, I don't know why, crime is high in those cities. So you may say, well, that's because it's mainly African Americans. You really want to continue going? Yeah. This is not going to end well for you as you're going through this slippery slope. Then they have to use the racist card. No, you're just being racist, right? Now, let me show you something here about what local Chicago folks who are sick and tired of their mayor, and they're asking for Trump to come. And you tell me if these guys look like Trump voters. Just let me, they're just sick of it. They're like safety over politics. Finally, common sense. Look how she calls him out. Go ahead, Rob, play this clip.
You all stood up there and said you will not allow Trump to come in here and get these illegals. Yeah, you can smile. We're in a $1 billion deficit. And you spent half of our money, half of that on illegals. You campaign and double down that you would not raise property taxes.
I won't raise your property taxes.
You wanted to raise our taxes $300 million. They shut it down. Now we back here for $150 million. I love okay. See, this is what we asking now. Since you want to crash out, some of y'all say y'all willing to go to jail for it. Trump, Tom Homan, make an example of this right here first. Please come here first. Spend our tax dollars to go. Michael Rodriguez, you said to take Trump to court to protect these illegals. That's cool because we about to make all of y'all aldermen famous. Y'all think this is how it's gonna rap? I think not.
Oh, I love
Chicago
that.
red. We not playing.
This what's going to happen to you. You got Kash Patel and Pam Bundy that you're going to have to deal with sooner than later. Then it's going to be an audit. Next, it's going to be an investigation. Then it's going to be an indictment. Conviction. That's what's going to happen to you.
Right there. By the way, now let me tell you.
They brought him an orange jumpsuit.
Now they are going to call that guy an Uncle Tom.
100%.
And they're going to call these guys racist. So when they use the racist word, watch what this guy does. Rob, again, Chicago, crime. Just so you know, I'm going to show you something from a story of somebody in D.C. D.C. goes 12 straight days without murder following the Trump's capital crime crackdown. Rob, go back to that clip. I want to stay on this racist thing with Chicago. Watch this other clip I just sent you. There's another clip I sent you of a guy that's questioning him, that he doesn't want to answer the question. And then they show a clip afterwards of what he campaigned on. This is Chicago's mayor. Again, I've been to Chicago 100 times the last 25 years. I had so many offices in Chicago. I almost bought a house in Naperville. I wanted to move to Naperville. I have offices in Oak Brook and Des Plaines, you name. We had all over the place. I used to go and stay at the same exact hotel. I have so many great memories of Chicago the last 25 years. I would like to see the city be great again. There's a big Assyrian community there. There's a big Middle Eastern community there. Watch this right here, Rob. Play this clip.
Why are you a racist? Mayor Johnson.
Yeah.
Please turn the mic on. Thank you. Real Chicagoans woke up this morning relieved that the Department of Justice is finally investigating your race hustle. As someone who grew up on the south side of Chicago, I've heard a lot of race hustlers in my life, trust me. But they were usually marching around outside of City Hall, which is what makes this so embarrassing and dangerous. For over a year, real Chicagoans, white and black, have been telling me that your black power rhetoric is bringing the city backwards from a place that
we need the question
had overcome. You want the question?
Please.
Real Chicagoans want to know, why are you a racist?
You know, first of all, I reject the idea and the premise that somehow that's an actual legitimate question.
Okay. Do me a favor, Rob. Pause it right there. Fast forward to when he's explaining himself, because the gentleman's going to ask the same exact question twice, so you can skip that. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Go to the part where he's sitting to the right. Keep going. It's about to come up. Right there. Okay. Play it from right there. Go ahead, Rob.
One employer of our people is our people. What I'm saying is, when you hire our people, we always look out for everybody else. We are the most generous people on the planet. The deputy mayor is a black woman. Department of Planning and Development is a black woman. Infrastructure deputy mayor is a black woman. Chief operations officer is a black man. Budget director is a black woman. Senior advisor is a black man. One thing that I know for sure that I have to do over these next 2 years, every single dime that our people have been robbed of, I want to make sure that that is returned 2-, 3-fold. We have 6 developers that have received the first $30 million for investment.
5 out of 6
developers. Of those 6 developers, 5 of them are black and 3 are women. BOA Construction.
Okay, you can pause it right there. You get the idea of what's going on. And then they're saying, well, he's only targeting black mayors. Sharpton. He's only giving money to blacks and only take care of blacks. And if you're white, he ain't targeting you. So what does that mean? Who's the more racist one there? See, this is where logic and data comes out and they lose the argument. Tom, your thoughts on the story here?
Well, you know what's really funny is Trump is picking on statistics that are showing that citizens have enough and are living in horrible situations. Washington, D.C., how many clips do we need of people that say, this is better? They're actually making the police work hard. The police were kind of casual, and we now know, we've seen individuals produce what they claim is evidence that allegedly all these crime stats were being fudged in D.C., so it was actually worse. And then when Al Sharpton comes out like this, Al doesn't want more than a 5-minute interview, and I will tell you why. Because he's claiming Trump is racist, and you want to go into the statistics and crime. If you want to go in the statistics in Philadelphia and in Chicago, you don't want to go in and look at the victims and the perpetrators, because black on black violence is at the top of the statistical list. More of the crime, unfortunately, tragically, is black on black. And so you want to go there, Al? This doesn't end well. It's sad. The communities need infrastructure. They need school investment. They need strong mayors that are colorblind to bring it back. And right now, you need the National Guard to restore order so you can even get to first base. That's what I think. And I think Al Sharpton is so disingenuous. If it's a half hour, if those were half-hour news shows going A to Z, he is at the end of it with nothing to say and completely exposed for just his comments about racism. He's the one with the dog whistle. He's the one that's race baiting. He's the one that's trying to make it a racial issue when all we're doing is we're looking at the statistics in certain cities and people that need help. And the
Why don't we do this?
President is saying,
I thought you were going to go to data. I thought we were going to show some stats. Can you go to ChatGPT, please, Rob? Did you? I thought you had some numbers you were going to show. Can you? Because Tom, you prompted something very good. What percentage of Chicago's population is black? Can we look that up?
It's about a third of it, Pat.
I know.
Actually did some research.
I want to look at this here. What percentage of Chicago population is black? Okay. Let's say it's going to be 28, 29%.
Yeah.
Okay, 28, 29%. Perfect. What percentage of the crime in Chicago is from the black community? Maybe Sharpton's right. So let's validate him. Let's give him some credibility, and maybe we're wrong and he's right. And if you look at this, go a little bit lower. Okay, so black Chicagoans are 20 times more likely to be a homicide victim compared to white residents.
Victim.
And
77% of homicide victims in the same period were black.
Go back up.
Go back up. You missed it, Pat. Again.
26% of individuals
but they're
are black
responsible for
African-American.
51.3% of the murders.
51.3% of black. Wow.
That's a FBI
I was hoping
stat.
to show Al Sharpton that he's right and maybe Trump is targeting them. But Al, this is, man, ChatGPT's racist.
100%. Oh, it's totally racist.
ChatGPT's racist. I mean, if ChatGPT even has the audacity to spew data like this, so how do we fix this? That's the question. The way you fix it is what? To have more black mayors to go in there to tell them they're victims and it's the white man's fault?
Nope.
Is that the solution? Has that worked for how many years? 26, 27, 25 cities out of top 30 crime cities in America ran by a Democratic mayor. I don't know what percentage is black. We can find that out. But the point is, the more you start saying things like that without giving data, it just ends up backfiring on you. And then ChatGPT puts some numbers out there and you're like, oh, shoot. Maybe this is not a good angle I should have taken. Can we get to the next subject? Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about a different story here. Adam, did you have any thoughts on this?
I do. Well, words have power. You've said this before, but certain words, they lose all their power once they're overused or inflated, or it just becomes completely diluted to the point where it's like it's lost its complete meaning. And one of those words specifically is racist, right? So like you'll hear like, for instance, when you interviewed Bibi Netanyahu, literally interviewing Hitler, literally. Bibi is Hitler, literally. Well, clearly you don't know the word literally. And to draw a comparison between Bibi, who's doing a press conference or doing a podcast with Hitler, remind me when Hitler was doing podcasts and basically explaining himself to the world. Literally Hitler. So when you call someone racist, Trump is racist. Trump is Hitler. How many times have you heard that? It's so absurd to me. And it's so powerless and toothless and becomes completely watered down that it loses its meaning. So what I say when it comes to racism, do you remember when Bassem Youssef, we had our little engagement over there and he's like, you're racist. I'm like, why? Because I think certain countries in the Middle East are more focused on GDP and they're doing well, like Gulf countries, and certain countries are more focused on terrorism and GDP and they're not doing so well. That's racist. No, that's data, buddy. So to me, it's only racist if you single out one group. It's not racist if you make fun of everybody. When I was doing stand-up, much like Vinny does, I would call out black, white, Mexican. It's only racist if you single out one group and flip it. Why is it that someone like Al Sharpton is only singling out one group, white presidents? So to me, he's toothless and loses its meaning.
It's unfortunate because there's a couple things that happens with social media and with ChatGPT and these searches that you can do. Nowadays, at any given point, somebody can watch somebody say something on CNN, MSNBC, Fox, and I'm like, is that true? Let me go do them. Oh, no, that's wrong. Is that true? Oh, no. For 20 years, I've been listening to you. You've been lying. Is that true? Is that true? Oh, my God. So that is the beautiful part about data, that people get to come back and show numbers, and then you get to make a decision for yourself. And trust me, the people that are doing it right, they don't like this type of data. I was in insurance, and a lot of times, it was Medicare insurance, Armenian this, Armenian that. It's like, you know what? It's not wrong. It's not wrong. There was a lot of it going on in Glendale, North Hollywood, a lot of these places. It was. So what are we going to say? That's everybody? No, that doesn't mean it's everybody. But that does mean a bigger percentage does it, and it needs to be addressed. And there's nothing wrong with that. Somebody needs to address it. Hopefully the right people will. Let's go to the next story here, which has to do with, I'm going to go to this one here with Trump attacks NBC and ABC networks, wants FCC to revoke their license. This is a pretty heavy statement to be making, to revoke a license despite a very high popularity and according to many, among the greatest 8 months in presidential history. ABC and NBC fake news, two of the worst and most biased networks in history, give me a 97% bad stories. If that is the case, they are simply an arm of the Democratic Party and should, according to many, have their licenses revoked by the FCC. I would be totally in favor of that because they are biased and untruthful, an actual threat to democracy. MAGA. Tom, your thoughts on this?
So when you say it that way, I wish the president had mentioned equal time. President, I thought, did a really good job on the flag burning, mentioning inciting riots, because that's a law. That's a statute. You can investigate that. There is the equal time provision that when you are given a license by the FCC, there's equal time provision. And growing up, Pat, you and I may have remembered watching TV in California, in LA, you would have citizens that would give their opinion on the evening news. Do you remember this?
Yes.
You know, and so someone would say there, hi, my name is Joyce Azerbaijan, and, you know, I live over here, and I have an opinion about this. And she would read a statement, and we'd say, the opinions of citizens are not necessarily the opinion of the network itself, however, are presented to give equal time. And that's what it used to be. All of that has been basically unenforced. And if you unenforce the speed limit, everybody is suddenly driving 80 miles an hour on I-95. Guess what? That's what happens. So if you don't enforce this, then you get this. I wish Trump, rather than making it almost feel, the door's kind of open with his statement here where people could say, oh, you're just being retaliatory, you're going after this. He's right on certain things, like giving percents about the stories that were never, but I wish he had mentioned the equal time. They are not giving equal time. There were supposed to be equal time provisions. There were supposed to be things, and a lobbying, and it was like, this is a paid statement. The people that are selling bamboo steamers and Ginsu knives, they had to put those things, remember this, Vinny? They said, this is a paid advertisement for Ginsu. And you had to say it was a paid advertisement. Well, now you do have politics coming in and basically paying to get people on and doing things. So I wish Trump had been taken more to the hoop as saying they're going to lose their license if they're going to be biased one place and they're just going to be a tool and they're not going to be following the equal time provision and the other things. I think they could lose their license. The way he said it kind of made it sound like angry and I'm going after you.
Very good point. Rob, can you go to ChatGPT and type the following thing? Is there equal time provision given by the FCC license? Just type in, is there equal time given by FCC license? Okay. Watch what comes up. Tom's making a very, very good point here. So if you go to the history of it, 1934, equal time, okay, established under the Commission Acts of 1934 and enforced by the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, requires that U.S. broadcast TV and radio give equal opportunity to all legally qualified political candidates for the same office if they request it. This doesn't mean equal airtime automatically. It applies when a station sells or gives airtime to one candidate. Then they must offer the same terms, time, rates, and conditions to others as well. Now, obviously, none of that is accurate with what happened with NBC and CBS and ABC. Now, if they choose to go after them, it's going to be a very slippery slope on what happens here. There's the good and there's the bad here. Let me tell you what the good and the bad is here. The good is they're going to be held accountable. That's the good. The bad is when the Democrats get elected, the same pressure's coming back again. Just letting you know. So this is great right now. Conservatives, Republicans, oh my God, let me tell you, Google was at the White House for Trump's inauguration. They gave $2 million, $1 million. Bezos was there and YouTube was there. Oh my God, I see you guys in our search all the time. And it's a spot. So everybody's there, right? Facebook, I'm giving $2 million for the party and ceremony. Is that how they're going to be when the Dems win the White House? Are they going to show up the same way? I don't know. Are they going to be like, hey, you guys got to do something about that? I don't know. I hope America doesn't have a short-term memory and doesn't forget when the Twitter files and everything came out, seeing that Biden was asking Twitter and others on what to do. We've never had YouTube files. We've never had Google files. We've never had any of these other files. We've only had Twitter files because a guy bought it named Elon Musk, right? So as much as we're going through this, I want accountability of that taking place. The Dems are going to remember when they come to office, they're going to be targeting people left and right in ways we've not seen before if Trump pushes extremely hard on everything. It may be good while he's president, and maybe even if a Republican wins the next 2 terms, but eventually Democrats' turns is going to come, and they're going to play ball in a major way. So whatever way they make these changes, I hope it's permanent changes. It's not temporary changes. Vinny, you look like you want to say something.
I think it should be permanent because think about, and you made a great point earlier. Now, if somebody says something anywhere, person, live, television, network, Tom, I could go right on my phone and be like, no, you're actually right, or you're actually wrong. Think about for how long, how many decades we had it where whatever that channel told us, it was fact. Whatever that channel told us, it was fact. And I love the fact about accountability because in all fairness, nobody's ever been gone after as much as he has. And like, for instance, like the networks knowingly, CNN, knowing Russia was all BS, Pat, and getting paid to do it. And look what they did. They destroyed people's lives. I have people in my life that I love that still won't talk to me because of what they brainwashed them to think that this guy was Hitler, that this guy was a Nazi. And a great point, Adam, that they downplayed that word. The left made the word Hitler and Nazi, those words, kind of like, whatever. If Hitler's like Trump, then what? Yeah. He liked it's unbelievable. And the main one, COVID. How are none of these networks, how is nobody at CNN, MSNBC going to get in trouble at all? Was anybody held accountable, Pat, for somebody, Cuomo, all these guys, go in front of a camera and making people saying, if you don't get this experimental crap in your body, you're the enemy. They literally call this enemy. So now, with myocarditis and sudden death is on a freaking, on a rise, is anybody going to get held accountable?
I think that's the right place to go after. I think that's the right place to go after because, anchors and journalists played doctor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They played doctor. And they told you what to do or else, boom. If you don't have a bed, too bad. Die.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Kimmel, I don't know who said that. I think
Kimmel, bye-bye, Weezy.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Weezy.
So, these are the things that you should go after because to me, that was the American people. Okay, that was the American people. The more he goes and targets those stories that are emotional to the voter, I think that's the right move. This is more emotional to you. I think you won. Let me put it to you this way. I don't know any other way to put it. Forget about how when we won the hockey, the what's the name of that?
Cup?
No, not Stanley Cup. The way U.S.-Russia was a U.S.-Russia, right? What is the game?
That was the Olympics.
The Miracle on Ice, right?
Olympic, yeah.
Forget about that. Yeah. Forget about the comeback of the Red Sox. Forget about the comeback of, you can go and look at all of these stories. There has never in the history of mankind been a bigger comeback than what the president did. Never.
Oh, yeah.
It does not exist. That's number one. You won. Now go fight for the people like you're doing. So my focus will be, you make a very good point, go after that story.
Yep.
Target that. If this is an angle to go there, go do it. And I actually think he should pursue this as well. But I think Tom's right, maybe messaging to be in a little bit more of, these guys play doctor and they're not doctors. You're not a doctor. What are you doing telling other people? We'll bring experts. Podcasters will bring experts and talk to me. Here's what I take. Here's what I take. Here's what I take. You better or else. Yeah. Little too problematic. Adam, thoughts?
Yeah. Well, regarding Trump versus the media, I used to get really upset with Trump in 2016 when he would attack the media. You're fake news. He would say things like the media is the enemy of the people.
Yeah.
And I was, what? I mean, this is 10 years ago almost. What, is this guy for real? What is he?
That was 2 months ago.
No, when he first came out.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the media would say, this is what Stalin used to use. This is what autocrats and dictators. And for people that basically had TDS or were developing TDS at the time, it started to break people's brains. And I admit, I was like, what is this guy? What? Media is what do they call it? The fourth estate. Like, this is what keeps people in check.
Yep.
And what I realized slowly but slowly, but surely, is that he was actually right. You know, Trump wears the hat. Trump was right about everything. The media they were not journalists anymore. They became activists. And you always hear about the weaponization of justice. The weaponization of justice. I can't believe he's attacking, his critics. What about the weaponization of media? You know, he talked about in this story here, 92 to 97% negative. Well, if you just do it based on approval ratings, just that alone, at the very least, it should be 40, 50-50, 40-60 based on approval ratings. But 92 to 97% negative coverage. And we saw it play out over the media, but we saw it play out even more on late night comedy. 100% of the jokes and the guests were all on the left. And if they had a guest, it'd be freaking Liz Cheney.
Yeah.
Who is heading the January 6th committee. So to me, it's all fabricated. It's all fake. And I will say, Fox News does this on the right, but not as bad as they do on the left.
Yeah, but you make a good point. But at the same token, it's like, and get it. I get it. They're going to a certain audience. They're going for the Republicans, and the left is going to the left. But I've never seen them like push a hoax or like a fake thing like what were they pushing?
They did kind of push that Dominion thing a little bit. They had to pay almost $1 billion for that.
Yeah, but
so that came to bite them in the
that's
butt.
a legal thing. But as we've learned, you can hack any machine, because we had a guest on here that proved it. Court is a whole different thing. But yeah, I get it.
Let me go to this next story here, which is extremely important for those of you guys that travel, especially if you travel Southwest. I know how painful this is for some of you.
Painful.
And some of you guys, it's a warning, because some people are going to think this is discriminating. But Southwest rolls out new conditions for plus-size passengers refunds. Starting January 27th, when flights with assigned seating being taken off, plus-size passengers should proactively purchase the needed number of seats prior to travel to ensure the additional adjacent seat is available. As stated on Southwest Airlines website, to advise potential customers, Southwest website lists the seat width on the Boeing 737 models. It flies from 15.5 inches at the narrowest to 17.8 inches at the widest, with the arms at the definite seat boundary. Jeff Jenkins, founder of plus-size travel blog Chubby Diaries, told USA Today, "I just hope the consumers are aware of this change, and I wonder if plus-size people will skip out on flying with them at all because of them not knowing if the flight is sold out or not," expressing concerns. Rob, do you want to play this clip?
We think that this policy change risks increasing body shame. We already know that plus size passengers are, verbally harassed, are videotaped, are sometimes even physically assaulted on flights.
Southwest Airlines is changing a long-standing policy for plus size travelers. For years, quote, customers of size were encouraged to buy 2 seats, then apply for a refund after their trip, a process that had fewer restrictions on when refunds would be provided. But starting January 27th, refunds will only be granted if 3 conditions are met. The flight must depart with at least 1 open seat, both seats must be in the same fare class, and refund requests must be filed within 90 days of travel.
The refund policy is going to be so much more restricted to you only being able to get a refund for your second seat if the flight was not full, which many Southwest flights are full. This is not a policy that was bankrupting Southwest and therefore they've changed it. It's part of their, whole package of sort of nickeling and diming customers more.
The updated policy goes into effect the same day the airline switches to assigned seating on all of its flights.
The question always comes down to, do you believe that people who are traveling by plane are paying for passage from point A to point B, or do you believe that they're paying for butt space? Southwest was the best thing that we had for somebody who either couldn't afford to pay for a
what did she say? Go back again.
Or who could
go back, Rob, again.
From point A to point B.
Are they paying to go from point A to point B or butt space?
For butt space.
Yeah, you're
Southwest
taking space.
Was the best thing that we had for somebody who either couldn't afford to pay for a second seat.
I don't understand this. Can you press pause right there? So if you live in if you got a family of 5, can you fit in a 1-bedroom apartment? Probably not. You probably need 3 bedrooms. Well, are you taking too much space? Is that fat shaming? So what do we call that? Big family shaming? Procreating shaming? What do we call that thing? Is there shaming going there? No. Somebody wants to have more kids? you want to eat more. You know, one is not 300 pounds by accident. It just doesn't happen. Whenever I'm out of shape, it didn't accidentally happen, and I'm out of shape. I got out of shape, okay? And if you put on weight or any of this stuff, so I kind of like what Southwest is doing here. I do think the problem is going to be the following. Say you don't buy the extra ticket, Vinny.
Yeah.
Just visually go with me.
Okay. I'm big.
You're big.
Okay.
You're above the 17.9 inches. Yeah. So you're big. That's right. And we're outside before you get on. Okay. Everybody knows this is the new rule.
Yeah.
So you got 300 passengers in line. They're all pointing at you.
Yeah.
And they're just waiting to see who's going to be sitting next to that person. And you go up, and they notice you've only bought one ticket.
Uh-oh.
Some of the most viral videos the next 3 to 6 months are going to be those, what do you call it? The rage. How dare you call me plus? This is body shaming.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Oh, 1,000%.
And you know, this is going to be rough, though.
What?
Visually, you're going to have to go there.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready for this one? Vinny, I promise you're visually going to go there.
Okay.
You know when you bring these things, the bags, and you say, no, it's going to fit in this thing, and you're pushing it in there.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to have to push people. Say, no, my hips fit.
Are we going to have a measuring device at 17.8 inches?
Honey, can you push it? Push it.
Excuse me. If you can't fit in here, you can't get on.
So now imagine that, like, so you jump in it, but this thing rolls up.
Oh, man.
Like, you know what I'm saying? If it rolls up, so you're like, no, I'm good. They're like, no, but this is going to fall on somebody.
Yeah, I'm going to hold my hips.
I think this is going to be such negative blowback, whatever you want to call it, on Southwest with videos going viral, but it's going to be some of the most embarrassing. It may cause people to want to go on Southwest flights for no reason, just to see people there. Like, can you imagine you book a flight, you're like, oh, I want to see what's going to happen to this person.
Like, but you have,
record, it's going to go viral. Get it. She's screaming. Throw her flip-flop. Good job. Right?
Yep.
It's going to
Matter of fact, we're going to fly Southwest to Orlando. That's what we're going to do.
Let's do it.
Yeah. We're going to South.
Just bring the camera crew with us.
Go ahead, Tom.
No, so Southwest did it to itself, because what it did is it said, okay, plus-size passengers had to buy 2 tickets. This is a fact. And I've known people that had to do this. Nice people that were respectful, but, you know, were not, had arrived at a condition for whatever reason, and they buy 2 tickets. What Southwest would say previously, remember, there's no assigned seating on Southwest, so they just sit down. You know, so they take the window in the middle and they show, I've paid for 2. I've seen it. Now, if the flight was not sold out, in other words, there was space, then Southwest would refund the second ticket, because they say, well, we didn't sell out the flight. The seat would have been there anyway, and you got to use it. That, I think, was a mistake for Southwest.
I agree. I'm with that. If I'm doing it the right way,
it just said,
and
pay
I'm
for
being
2
respectful,
seats.
and you don't give that back to me, and you still take that money, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, and so everybody else, you know, nobody else gets to go on and says, wait a minute, my carry-on was only 4 pounds because it's just my laptop. Should you give me part of my ticket back because Vinny's got a backpack and a giant laptop? You know, no. So that was the old way. The old way, they buy 2 tickets on there, call Southwest, hey, there is open seats, and so can I get refunded? Now they're saying with assigned seating, this is more difficult. Sure. Now you need assigned seating. Makes sense? So the flight attendants can't say, well, you could sit there and you could sit there. And you can move here and you can move here. Because there's been situations, you see people traveling with kids.
Yeah.
And that someone's in Group C, a lady with a kid, and says, hey, I got a 6-year-old girl here. I don't want to put her in the middle seat between these 2 people she doesn't know. And somebody says, hey, could you move? And they do it nicely. And so the flight attendants do it. Well, now you got assigned seats. And you're going to have a business class and a regular class. So now Southwest is they painted themselves kind of in a corner where now it makes it look like they're taking something away when they were giving something beneficial to people out of their own sort of activism, rather than saying, hey, you're larger, you paid for 2 seats. Okay, fine.
And you know what? Like, and here's the thing. What nobody's really talking about. How about get your ass in shape? Like, the fact that we're at the point where you're just like not even trying to change. It's not like she caught fat. You know what I mean? You didn't just catch it. You know what I mean?
Bro, I got hit, dude.
You know what? Blue Ocean
out of
strategy.
nowhere, I got caught by
Somebody
that fat
out there
bug.
should open up a freaking airline and call it Big Booty Air or Big Ass Air. No seats. Just get all the big ass people in there. Throw snacks, some sodas, and be like, guys, eat crap, do whatever, lay on each other.
We got
We're gonna be in
cargo in the
Vegas in
back.
45 minutes. It's like that should be motivating you instead of sitting there complaining about my hip is gonna be. I'm not gonna pay. How about get in shape? Get in shape. I know that there's some people out there that have a disease.
You know how small the bathrooms are, right?
They're small.
This is I was on a Southwest flight. I think it was a miracle. This enormously large guy goes in the bathroom. I didn't know how he fit in there. He get in there and they close the door. He comes out 5 minutes later. He was still square for a while.
Like a pack, like cookie dough in a freaking tube. What?
No, that was great.
By
Big
the way,
booty
this
airlines.
is what they call
big booty air.
Body shaming. Adam,
Yeah, you guys are body shaming today.
are
Well,
you
it's-
comfortable talking about this?
I'm
or-
very comfortable. Well, this whole coddling of the American mind and using terms that are inclusive, it's like, you're not plus sized, you're not full figured, you're just fat, you're obese. What figure? What are you, a hexagon? So all these words that have been changed, you know, you're no longer a woman, you're a birthing person.
Yeah.
You know, you have a front hole, not a uterus anymore. They're not illegal aliens. They're newcomers. Welcome.
Yeah.
Come on in. Here's your EBT card.
I'm
These words,
spherically enhanced.
there you go, Tom. All these things. You're not homeless. You're unhoused. Just stop it. You're big. You're fat. You're ugly. Deal with it. What's happened is people want to use inclusive language and they want to feel like everyone wants to protect your feelings and safe spaces. And I get it. But what happens is you create an entire civilization, a generation of soft individuals. We see the stories about kids bringing their parents to job interviews, right? It's like you're raising these kids to be completely soft. What's happening also is shaming needs to be, okay, dude, you are fat. Get in the gym, like you just said. I'll tell you one last story. As far as like you said, it could be a business model about getting your money back if you're sitting next to a big fat person on a plane. One time before we started flying private, things are going real weird at Valuetainment World. We flew out to LA. It was me, you, and Tigran. I don't know if you remember. And you were sitting at the front. Tigran, I don't know where he was sitting, but I was in the back, PBD. And
I was actually, I told him put him all the way in the back by the bathroom.
I was all the way back there. I really was. And I said, at the very least, get me a window seat. And there it was. You know, like you think you have the middle seat open, and then it's like, we're done loading with passengers. We got a couple more passengers. And then you see her, Big Bertha, coming down the aisle. I'm looking around. I see every seat taken, and I see a middle seat next to me, and it's just like, boom, boom. Here she comes. I'm like, oh, she's coming this way. And then it's like, excuse me, you're next to my seat. I'm like, oh, Tigran comes to the bathroom about an hour later. He sees me. I'm like, in the window. He just laughs at me. I would have got a refund for that, according to Southwest Airlines. Yeah, I mean, because big girls need love too. But not fun to sit next to that lady.
On a serious angle, serious number, you talk about number scream, Tom. How many % of Americans are obese?
45%.
42% of Americans, that's 141 million Americans are obese. 10% are severely obese, all right? And kids and teens ages 2 to 19, 20% of the kids are obese, and it's borderline getting.
We got big, fat
I'm not
people in this
guess what?
country.
I'm sorry.
It is what it is.
Get your ass in shape. And by the way, when you see a kid, Pat, when you see a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, like that's child abuse. He's not. What are you feeding that kid?
This is why RFK is so against what we're feeding kids.
Well,
remember,
let me tell
speaking
you.
of RFK, do you remember the video you showed one time?
Yeah.
Get the soda machines out of schools.
Of
Yes.
JFK,
Yes.
and saying basically like, our kids have not used to go to the gym. Our kids are getting fat now, and we need kids who can do a push-up and a sit-up. We've gained
that
so much
JFK?
weight.
It is.
We've gained so much weight as
It
a
is.
country
I guess I never
in the
knew.
last 50 years that this is sort of the
Here's the
ramifications
reality
of those
of it.
decisions.
I don't want to spend this much time on these stories. I want to go through it faster. But the point is, this is happening. It's real, causing Southwest Airlines to expose it because it's costing them money. They need to make money. But at the same time, unfortunately, it's also the reason why so many people are using GLP-1s. It's also why Ozempic is on fire right now.
Mm-hmm.
I see some people I haven't seen for a year. I see them. I'm like, I don't even recognize you.
Yeah.
What happened to you? And I'm like, Jen's like, babe, did you see that? Yeah. Is that her sister or is that her? No, that's her. Wow. They split in half.
Yeah.
And I know it's not because they're 24/7 working at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning training.
magic. It's a magic.
The shortcut system is also there. So you want me to not body shame? I'll take the pill, but I'm not going to the gym. There's never been more of a time to have data to help you be healthier than today. Never. This is the best time ever to be healthy. The data's out there. So anyways, let's go to the next story here. Next story I want to get into is a story of what happened with the truck driver, Rob. Do you have the clip of what happened here? So there's a fatal car crash. Fatal truck drivers, they go out there, and you've seen this clip, okay? You've seen the clip. If you have any of it, Rob, is that the one? Yep. This is it. Okay, can we actually show this? Go ahead. Watch this clip here. Go ahead. So these guys are truck drivers.
He's making a U-turn. Look. And that's just a family, people, 3 people, boom. Like, what are you doing, bro?
So they hit.
And the person went under, like, Pat, he makes a K-turn, and the car goes, and they crush all the people inside the freaking...
Family. It's a van.
It's a van. There's like, I don't think it was a family, but it's a minivan, and there's 3 people in there.
Well, walk me through this. He's driving.
Adam, he goes, oh, I need to go back that way in the freeway. Turns that big-ass thing around. He goes
made
wide.
a U-turn with a semi by pulling over to the far right side and then swung
in the middle of the
traffic.
highway.
In the middle?
The turnpike, Florida turnpike.
So
yeah, but Florida Turnpike, how fast
on the
go,
highway,
Rob?
they have a little break for
70
cops.
miles an hour. This is not like you're doing it in a street going 35. Florida Turnpike, you can go 70 miles an hour. Van comes, hits, and obviously it's a tragic incident that happens. Now watch this.
Oh my
the driver is an illegal immigrant truck driver accused of causing a crash on Florida Turnpike in Fort Pierce. August 12th, killed 3 people, has garnered 2.5 million signatures as of Sunday afternoon. This is a 28-year-old man. The petition posted on change.org addressed to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the Florida Board of Executive Clemency states this was a tragic accident, not a deliberate act, and argues while accountability matters, the severity of the charges against him does not align with the circumstances of the incident. It requests a proportionate and reasonable sentence if convicted, parole eligibility after part of the sentence is served, and consideration of alternatives like counseling. You make a U-turn, you're illegal here, 3 people die, you want counseling and community service? Harjinder Singh was operating a commercial semi-truck with a trailer when he allegedly attempted a U-turn in an unauthorized area, causing the trailer to jackknife and collide with a minivan, killing all 3 passengers. What does Governor DeSantis do? Rob, do you have that clip of Governor DeSantis? Here's what he's doing. Go ahead, Rob.
We had an issue where you had an illegal alien truck driver that got a commercial driver's license in the state of California, employed by a California company, kill 3 people in Florida. This guy didn't even speak English. We're bringing him up on charges. He's going to face a lot. And I can announce, Jesse, that I said initially the company needs to be held accountable, and we've been working with the federal government, and they are pulling that company's license to do business because you cannot employ somebody who cannot read the road signs. Why is he spending all this time, trying to be fresh with President Trump? Why doesn't he do his job and protect the people? And as much as we somehow poke fun at California oftentimes because of all the problems that the liberal policies have allowed, that is spilling over into the rest of the country. And Florida is a tragic example with 3 of our fellow citizens who are dead because of his sanctuary policy.
Okay, so direct call out right there of this taking place. Vinny, what else do we know about the story?
Well, first of all, I sent Rob, I sent you a clip. I believe it was, I sent it to you this morning. Pat, there's footage of him, Harjinder Singh, from August 3rd, 2025, released by Mexico State, showing him talking to an officer who at times he couldn't even understand him. Like this is the clip of him. He's already been.
This is the one that you'll take care of within 30 days, okay? And then just choose one of those options right there.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And this one right here is your inspection, okay?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Drive safely, all right?
Thank you.
Have a good one, sir.
No
worries. I feel bad being the first guy to write you a ticket, but I try to help you out.
They said my no license in the ticket.
What's that?
They send the ticket in the no my credit.
I'm sorry, I guess I don't understand what
maybe in this my ticket and my license.
Yeah.
Or how many years?
Don't quote me on this.
He doesn't know it. Pat, if you're a cop, you stop it, Rob. He doesn't even know how to speak it. Like,
what is he asking him, Rob?
He's like, do I have to pay the ticket or where do I have to pay? He doesn't even know. The cop has no idea what he's saying. So the fact that this guy went to, and this is going back to Gavin Newsom, the front runner for the president of the United States, he goes there and the sanctuary says, you don't even need an ID to vote. You don't need an ID to vote. You don't even need, how does that guy, he failed, apparently, Pat, he failed the English proficiency test, answering 2 out of 12 questions, right? And recognizing just 1 of 4 traffic signs. And I think, think about it. Gavin let him come in, like get the license and come here, and he killed 3 people. What, at the direction of Ron DeSantis, I would go after Gavin Newsom. You let somebody come in that came here and killed Floridians. Okay. And what, by the way, 2.5 million people. This is the worst thing. 2.5 million Americans are signing a petition to free him. Like, where's the outrage when Americans are murdered or left behind by the freaking government, or millions who rally? Like, what are we even talking about, Tom? How upside down is it that Americans are going after this guy?
It's crazy. In other states, he would not have been able to get the Class C license because he didn't have English proficiency or recognize the road signs. Apparently, under whatever testing they do in California, he got the Class C license. So he had a legal license and then commits what should be in the brain of every truck driver a never do. Like never do this. And yet he did it. And, you know, if you're drunk and you do something with your vehicle, it's vehicular manslaughter. So now people are not liking that Florida is saying this is vehicular manslaughter. This is gross negligence resulting not in property damage, but death. And in other states, you wouldn't even have a Class C license because you wouldn't pass the proficiency. Hey, what do these 10 signs mean? Which is really important. And so that's what I think is shocking. That part one. And part two I share with you is, what do these people think they're protesting signing this petition? What are exactly they protesting? Oh, let him go?
Yeah, that's it. Let him go.
Vehicular manslaughter isn't manslaughter. What are they signing? Why do they?
Yeah, let him go.
Why do they think that this guy needs the help of public opinion in the form of a petition?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I get it. Okay, probably a nice guy. He seems pretty nice, but you didn't. He had no business having a freaking a Class C license, Tom. And here's the question: is it a company that gives it to you, or just the state of California?
No, it's state of California.
Okay,
like you get a driver's license, and there's motorcycle license. There's also Class C license to drive a school bus, drive this. There's levels of licenses. The state gives it to you, and if he had one from California, he either got it legally or something got finagled, and he got the license.
If you're in the transportation business and you see the story, you're shitting bricks right now. Because the people that you're hiring as truck drivers, if you don't do that additional background check and find out who's driving your truck, and you're doing $22 million a year or $80 million a year or $228 million a year, and they pull your license as a company, you're screwed.
You're closed.
Yeah, you're closed. Guess what? Hundreds of jobs are gone. I get a Manek this morning by a guy that asked me specifically about compliance. He's trying to sell his business for $70 million.
Okay.
But the industry he's in is becoming hardcore compliant. And he's like, what do I do with the compliance side of my business? I'm going through it, et cetera, et cetera. And my response to him was very simple. Yeah, I'm scaling a multi-million-dollar operation, scaling to $70 million. My hurdle is that our industry's heavily regulated compliance has shifted from being a back office function to the single biggest driver to carrier relationship and valuation. Everything is going into compliance now. When that happened to our business, and I saw that taking place in 2012, 2013, when the CEO of multiple insurance companies were being grilled by Elizabeth Warren, and I said, yep, we got to make the big, 2011, I brought the best compliance folks, everybody in. If you're a business owner in transportation and that business is a little bit of a gray business, you best get your compliance together ASAP. I talked to a lot of guys in the transportation business. You best make that investment to compliance ASAP and double verify that person being a legal driver. Don't just do because you're going to make more money. You know, you could save $500, ends up costing you tens of millions of dollars. Make that additional investment for your compliance. Adam, your thoughts on this story?
Yeah, it sucks that this happened here in Florida because, Pat, as you always say, bad policies have consequences. Elections have consequences. These are, unfortunately, some of the consequences of bad policies in California.
Sure.
So this guy, his name is what? Harjinder Singh.
Yes.
You know, he came in through the Mexico border. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's not naturally born Mexican citizen. No. He's probably not from Venezuela or he's probably not from El Salvador. I'm assuming Mr. Singh, S-I-N-G-H, is Sikh or Punjabi or Indian. And to be frank, seems like a nice guy, just trying to make a living, drive a truck. But unfortunately, he's been granted access to drive recklessly on the streets of America under no accountability thanks to Gavin Newsom out there. And I don't even know if speaking English is a requirement to drive trucks or even to get a driver's license in this country. Believe me, all my Ubers, 2% of them actually speak English here in Miami. Cuban, Venezuelan, Colombian. There's no Inglés when they're driving the Uber. But to drive a truck?
Yeah.
A truck? On the highway?
Yeah, but
that's a whole different level to me.
I tell you, there's a part of that, over-regulation, under-regulation.
Yeah.
Where is the right part? There has to be.
For driving, I'd be on the side of over-regulation.
I don't know about over-regulation. I think it's the right, healthy amount of regulation. You don't want to put a chokehold as well, because if these guys are not driving, you don't have gifts for family, you don't have AC, you don't have a lot of different things that's being moved. I just think you need the right, appropriate compliance. Part of it is regulated by the state. Part of it is a federal thing, because let's just say I run a transportation company out of LA, but I'm driving to Florida and back. Yeah, I'm a national, officially my compliance is no longer just in the States. I'm national. It's a federal thing, right? Then, so it's got federal, national, statewide, and then I have to deal with certain things as a company. I don't know. I just, this concerns the hell out of me, because that could be you. So imagine you're driving the car.
Jeez.
Somebody calls you. For a split second, you look down to check the phone. You're reading the text. Everybody does it. You look up. You're dead. That's what happened to that van. You know who that can happen to? Anybody that can happen to. All of us. All of us. The first thing I think about. This is why on Minect I'm happy now, because finally people can ask me questions in audio. Intentionally I asked for that. I asked for that request because now 30 seconds somebody can ask you a question in audio. We can hear your voice, so we can be boom, 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 respond. Instead of reading and responding back to, it's a very slippery slope. And man, my heart breaks for that family of three that we're not expecting anything to be done. That said, you will never see that brother, that sister, that father, that cousin, that best friend. You'll never see them again. It's over. All those memories, gone. Like this. So, heartbreaking. I don't like to see things like this that's taking place. Anyways, let's go to the next story that I'm going to, let me see what story I got here. So Chinese, 600,000. So Trump opens up the door to 600,000 Chinese students amid Beijing trade talks. So first, Trump threatens 200% tariffs on China over key part that shut down U.S. car plants. Okay, so this is straight up the same day he's doing this, he's doing the other side. Trump says, if I wanted to destroy China, I would, but I want to have a great relationship with them. Rob, I know I just called you Rob. If we have a couple of these clips, I want to go through it. Is this the one I want to have a good relationship with them?
This is the 200% tariffs. I also have that one as well.
Okay, so let's go with the 200% tariffs, and we'll go through these, and we'll react.
But we have a very strong relationship, Howard, I would say, economically with China now, getting much better. They have to give us magnets. If they don't give us magnets, then we have to charge them 200% tariff or something, But we're not going to have a problem, I don't think, with that. I think that's perhaps behind us. China intelligently went and they sort of took a monopoly of the world's magnets. And nobody needed magnets until they convinced everybody 20 years ago, let's all do magnets. There were many other ways that the world could have gone. But so it'll take us probably a year to have them. We're heavy into the world of magnets now, only from a national security standpoint. But we have a powerful thing. It's airplane parts. They have many Boeing jets. They had 200 jets that didn't fly. And I've sent them all, based on his word, I sent them all of the parts so their planes can fly. I could have held them back. I didn't do that because of the relationship I have. And their planes are now flying. We had 200 of their planes were unable to fly because we were not giving them Boeing parts purposely because they weren't giving.
You can pause it right there. So he's doing this. He's doing the Trump negotiation thing. The magnets, they convince. I hope they don't do that. We'll see. If they don't, 200% tariffs. We don't want to do that. We want to have a good relationship. And this is what? This is him and Xi?
This is where he says he could destroy China.
Go ahead. In front of them.
relationship with China. I mean, it's happening. You see it. It's happening. They have some cards. We have incredible cards, but I don't want to play those cards. That would, if I played those cards, that would destroy China. I'm not going to play those cards.
It's so typical of Trump.
Oh, the guy's sitting right there.
Tom. You saw the face of the other guy. The other guy's just like.
So, Tom, three things here. 600,000 Chinese students. Rob, do you have that one?
That's this one right here. It's
Go ahead. Keep going.
President Xi would like me to come to China. It's a very important relationship. As you know, we're taking a lot of money in from China because of the tariffs and the different things. And it's a very important relationship. We're going to get along good with China. I hear so many stories about we're not going to allow their students. We're going to allow their students to come in. We're going to allow, it's very important, 600,000 students. It's very important. But we're going to get along with China.
Okay.
But it's a different relationship that we have.
Tom, three topics. Specifically China relationship, 600,000 students, 200% tariffs. Thoughts on this?
So first of all, the president's making nothing signed, and the president is trying to set the table to have a relationship with China or to have some kumbaya here to get to the real meat. This is just the hors d'oeuvres and the salad. The meat of the meal is the big time trade deal and what's going on. And magnets is one of the key items. That's why he's bringing it up. Chips is one of the others. Security for Taiwan is one of the others. So there is a big negotiation coming up. Step one, make everybody feel good. However, in one of these steps, 600,000 students coming to the U.S., China has been trying to get more students here as part of their cradle-to-the-grave spy program. And so it would seem to me that if we suddenly open the doors to 600,000 Chinese students, good grief, they buy up land next to our military bases. They're buying up farmland. It seems to me that this particular item, I want to see the fine print, PBD, but it would concern me that you're basically giving them the ability to say, oh, these 600,000 students, but some of them are obviously spy plants. And so that makes me kind of nervous because I know what he's trying to do. Relationship first, where he got a good relationship, get some parts for airplanes. Step one, get the big trade deal. But along the way, this to me just seems very...
The 600 makes you uncomfortable?
Yeah, it makes me damn uncomfortable because they're trying to get here.
Do you think that is one of the chips that China is putting in here, that in order for them to agree to X, Y, Z, you have to allow 600,000 of our students to come to you, they get trained here, and then come back to China? Do you think that's one of China's important asks?
I think so.
Okay.
Because I know that Xi thinks long.
I know. China thinks long term. We only have 3.5 years left with President Trump, and that's a long time for him. But a longer time is these Chinese students in the next 30 years are going to be in politics. They're going to have influence in companies, and they're going to report things back to China, and their loyalty is going to be to possibly them. Would you put that as one of the chips if in return you're able to get Panama Canal? Let's process that. You're representing Trump. I'm representing China. Hey, Tom, we will allow the C.K. Hutchinson deal to go through, and that's going to give you the Panama Canal, okay, which is a big risk for us. Some would even say it's a greater risk. Mm-hmm. But in return, you have to allow me to have 600,000 students of ours to come to U.S. and be educated in your country.
I would do that deal, and I'll tell you why. Because I get the canal done, and then I get my people and Panama's people in the joint military exercise there, so now it's secure.
Yeah.
And then later, I can filter and I can put restrictions on who's coming in, and I can do monitoring. So if it's canal first and then everything else, I can always change the immigration status and the observation, my surveillance later.
Vinny,
I have a problem with it. I have a huge problem, and I get the tactical business negotiation standpoint, but that 600 students from China is not America first.
600,000.
600, my bad.
Yeah.
600,000 is not. Let's not forget, China, I hate the word adversary. I know everybody wants to tell us that it's Russia and Israel. No. China is our number one enemy, period, Pat, to me, end of story. Okay, this is the same country that unleashed COVID. Still, not one piece of accountability. Tom, you nailed it. Stealing all of our stuff, buying land next to all of our military bases, which I'm happy that they freaking finally banned. This news just came out.
Buying farmland, sending spies over with crop
crop point to
contaminations.
try to ruin our agriculture. This just came out today. Chinese doctor accused of stealing confidential U.S.-funded cancer research. Now you're going to let in 600,000 of these students. And Tom, just students, and I know he said that he's going to vet them and stuff. You can't really trust them. I can't. And by the way, American kids can't afford college. Okay, our kids are drowning in debt. All this is happening, and you're going to give over 500,000 of these kids. No, I don't like that, Pat. They've been robbing us for decades. I think America first is America first, not China, not G, not Gavin Newsom. When this guy comes to freaking San Francisco, you toss out all the homeless people and wave Chinese flags, not American flags. I'm not with it at all, bro. This is, and I get everybody's always like, you're supposed to, if you love Trump. No,
but hear
I'm
me
calling
out,
him out.
Vinny,
I don't like it.
Put yesterday we're having a conversation. I was obviously joking, and I said there's the emotional voter, there is the logical voter, okay? And we all first start off with which one?
Emotion.
All of us.
100%.
By the way, just
me more than anybody.
No, not you. I'm just saying every one of us.
Of
okay?
course.
One of the things that, what is the benefit of being a comedian? We emotionally fall in love with you. Like I have emotionally fallen in love with when I sat in my bed and I'm showing all the clips to Jen, 30 clips back to back to back, and I'm laughing my ass off. I'm in the office. I'm like, this guy's freaking good. I love this guy. I've never met you in my life. I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was an Assyrian comedian.
Yeah.
Then you come in, and then we sit, and then the relationship logically is like, this could actually turn into something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Put a business hat on. Even though you've not been in business, you're making more money than you've ever made before in your life. So it's a special month, 500,000. I know what's coming, all this stuff that you're doing, right? You're actually finally making real money for yourself. Okay. So you have the offer. I'm asking to represent America long-term threats. You're saying China's long-term threat. You're trying to negotiate with this country and get them to do certain things they typically wouldn't do. You have one of two choices. You want me to approve the C.K. Hutchinson to allow BlackRock and whoever to buy it, so it's a U.S.-owned property, the Panama Canal, massive, the 43 ports, very important. You have to allow me to send 600,000 students to be able to get educated in your country, go to the school. Which of those two is more important to you?
The Hutchinson thing, so that means I would, if the only thing to get that done was the 600, you'd have to do it on a business standpoint.
But do you know why, though? So do you remember when all of a sudden, like, we couldn't get chips for cars?
Yep.
You'd go to a Rolex store. They don't have any watches.
Yeah.
You'd go to stores. There's nothing. Used cars were selling more than brand new cars because you just couldn't find anything, right? That's because there was no access to supply. What if all of a sudden China's like, oh, really? No problem. Close the canal. Now what? Slow things down 30 days. Give a headache to U.S. Now what do? Now you have to go 14,000 miles instead of 9,000 miles. Now you have to go all the way down and come up versus boom, 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 come up, right? I think what we don't know that's being negotiated behind closed doors, we don't know what are the 20 things that are on the table. We don't know. And you have to decide for yourself, negotiating on behalf of America is, there's no way I'm giving up these 5 things.
Yeah.
These 5 things, I can't have them believe we'll give them up. But we'll say we'll think about it. But already in your mind, you're like, what? We'll give them up, no problem.
Of course.
But these 5 things we have to get. What are these 5 things? These 5 things are da-da-da-da-da. I think that's kind of where they're at, and I don't like the 600,000. Makes me extremely uncomfortable. But if we're giving that up to get 3 things that are going to protect us more long-term for another black swan event to happen by China, I'm more interested in that. Adam, thoughts?
So I just have a question for you, and then I'll make my point. You know how we do the STAR system, which stands for what? Systems, tech, action, or relationships? Is that the 4?
Yeah, so people who are structured, like Tom, overly organized. People who are technical, like Tom. People who are action-oriented, competitive, psycho-competitors. And then R, relationship people, biz dev people. You're an R. You're a relationship guy.
Yeah, I'm also somewhat of an S guy. What do you think Trump is?
A, all the way. Trump is A first.
Yes.
I would probably put his...
R
I would
second.
put A first. I would put probably S and R second, T last.
I agree.
You know why S? Look at the way he dresses. Look at the way he likes glasses to be set when he's doing a video. Sure. He is so organized and that needs things to be done in a certain way. He's a maniacal S, but his A is an aggressive A.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. The reason I asked that is because he's go. You know, they were playing a video the other day of him falling asleep when he got to I think Saudi, it's like, all right, after traveling for 15 hours, the guy does sleep. But I think we can all appreciate how hard this guy works. I also agree with you that he's got a system and a structure, but I would say that Trump is a big relationship guy. And if you're nice to him, he'll be nice to you. If you're mean to him, he'll be mean to you. That's pretty basic with Trump. He said nice things about me, Kim Jong-un, so now we're best friends. We understand that right there. So with this relationship with China, who was at some higher up person in the Communist Party that came here? It wasn't Xi, obviously, right? That he was meeting with. Trump will say the exact opposite things about you in the same sentence. I love this guy. I'll kill him in a second if I have to, but I don't want to have to do that. I wouldn't do that. Yeah. Love you, but I hate you. It doesn't matter. Yeah. He could be your best friend or he can be your worst enemy. He's a deal maker and he's transactional. So Shane Gillis did a great impression of Trump when he was on SNL, and it was like Trump doing the dating game. He's like, I think you're hot. I think you're great. And she goes, nah, I'm not interested. You're ugly. Yeah. You're disgusting. Why would I ever? He'll turn on you real quick. So if you want to play Trump, like if you actually want to do a deal with Trump, you kind of have to kiss his butt. This is why we see these world leaders, like when he goes to Saudi, they put up a portable McDonald's, right? Okay, obviously pandering to Trump. Qatar gave the guy a plane, right? The UK, when Keir Starmer came over here, he's like, this is very special. We're giving you a free night stay at Buckingham Palace. Like, nobody gets this. He's like, well, thank you. So the guy from South Africa, he came over and he's like, we gave you a book about golf. Trump, you could see it in Trump's face. He's kind of just like, I'd be happy with a golf course, not a book. But Trump is very transactional and he's relationship driven.
Totally get it. But I mean, look, the reality of it is we don't have a clue what's going on behind closed doors and what's being negotiated. By the way, breaking news just came about Turkey furious with the fact that Netanyahu finally recognized the Armenian genocide. This story just dropped right now. So let me give you an idea what happened yesterday on the podcast with Bibi, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and the conversations that we had. There's a lot of topics. I wish we had 2 hours. I had a lot of things that I wanted to go through with him. This is specifically the part where I asked him about the Armenian, the Assyrian, and the Greek genocide. And here's what he had to say. Go ahead, Rob. The Holocaust has been recognized by 193 different countries, right? Everybody around the world. And in some countries, if you denied, you could do jail time. Many countries, you can do jail time a year or 5 years. But for anybody that doesn't recognize Armenian, Assyrian genocide, if there's any country that I would have expected to be on the list that recognized the Armenian and the Assyrian and the Greek genocide, it would be Israel. Why haven't you yet recognized the Armenian, Assyrian, and the Greek genocide that the Turkish did to that community?
In fact, I think we have, because I think the Knesset passed a resolution to that effect.
I don't know if it's come from you, though. I don't know if it's come from the Prime Minister of Israel.
Yeah, I just did.
Okay.
Here you go.
All right. Well, thank you for doing that.
Boom.
Okay. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate you. That's important to me. And I'm sure a lot of Armenians, Assyrians, and Greeks around the world appreciate you saying that. So that happened yesterday at the end of the podcast with the limited time that we had left. Armenians around the world reacted. Assyrians, even Greeks. There's government official Twitter accounts of all countries have posted on what happened with this. So it's official. They finally recognized, the Assyrian-Armenian genocide as an event that took place. Great. Now, when you do something like that, for many years, Turkey and Israel have had a decent relationship, and Israel's even sold weapons, I think, and helped Azerbaijan.
Yes. Yep.
Azerbaijan's a direct, the stuff that they did with Nagorno-Karabakh, Artsakh, this is not a friendly relationship that this is going on. For them to take this position, automatically it shows that the relationship with Turkey is not what it once used to be. Now, this is obviously due to Erdogan. Rob, can you pull up the story because I can't see anything here right now? There you go. Turkey slams Netanyahu for politically motivated recognition of Armenian genocide. This is Times of Israel. If you can go a little bit lower. Turkey rejects remarks by Prime Minister Netanyahu yesterday recognizing the genocide. If you can click on a link and go back to it. Yeah, click on that. Just go back to the story. In first, Netanyahu says he recognizes the Armenian genocide. So first, the story was written this morning at midnight. Go back to that. This was written this morning at midnight, 12:23 a.m. Go a little bit lower, that the Prime Minister did this, et cetera, et cetera. I think we have. I think the Knesset passed a resolution to that effect. though no such legislation has been passed into law. Pressed on why Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu responds, I just did, here you go. Okay, so now go back to the story previous to that with Turkey. So this is the story, if you can allow me to read it. There you go. Netanyahu remarks concerning of the events of 1915. And these ads suck on this website. Like, let it go, buddy. We're not going to buy it. Okay. 1915 are an attempt to exploit past tragedies for political motives, writes Ankara foreign minister in Turkish language statement saying, we condemn and reject the statement, which is incompatible with historical and legal facts. Turkey repeats its accusation that Israel is carrying out a genocide in Gaza Strip, saying Netanyahu is on trial for his role in the genocide committed against the Palestinian people, is attempting to cover up the crimes committed by himself and his government. So now, this story here, starting Uruguay, France, Germany, Canada, Russia, and the United States have recognized the Armenian genocide, but Israel has long avoided this step, though a number of senior politicians have called for the move in recent years. Netanyahu's remarks marks the first time an Israeli prime minister has done so, likely reflecting increasingly poor ties with Turkey, which has long rejected the characterization. Turkish President Erdogan has repeatedly compared Israel to Nazi Germany over its war against Hamas in Gaza. So that's the story that we have there. Now, messaging that came in from Armenians, Assyrians, and Greeks. Armenians, I don't care if he does this. I don't care what's going on. I don't want to hear nothing from him. Okay. Armenians, oh my God, emotional, can't believe this finally took place. This is so insane that this is finally happening. We're so happy for you. Thank you. We appreciate you. Achuni, all this, Yechbar, all these messages that are coming. Greeks messaging me saying, dude, I didn't even know that you knew that Greeks were involved. We appreciate you for doing that, because if you look at the history, Rob, can you pull up that one thing I sent to Adam yesterday? The picture that he just sent you?
I just sent it to him.
Yeah, if you can zoom in this one. The list of genocides organized by Turkey for the last 200 years. And some of the stuff you can go verify the numbers. I don't know if it's 100% accurate with the numbers. So you got Greece. You got 50,000, 8750, that's 1823. Continues with Mosul, Assyrians, 10,000. Goes lower, Armenians, 1,400, 1,250. Bulgaria, 14,700. Lebanon, 12,000. All this goes, okay? Armenia. And go to the top right. Okay, over here, Macedonia, 14,000. Sassoon, Armenian, 5,600. Adana, 1909, 13. So Armenia, Western Armenia, 1.5 million. Jeez. Greece, 150,000. Kars, 100,000. Pontus, 1919, 600,000. Mesopotamia, Assyrians, 750,000 is what these guys did, right? That till today, they don't want to recognize. So I understand that there's a community that really doesn't want to hear anybody, because a lot of folks, Vinny, what was your reaction when this happened? When he sat there and said,
it was like,
as an Assyrian yourself.
As an Assyrian, it was such a mind, because think about it. And can I just say something too? For all the people out there, and guess what, Pat? There's no making everybody happy, and we understand that. No matter what you do, if you ask this side's going to be furious. If you didn't ask this, the other side's going to get furious. And everybody wants to play, a Monday day quarterback, Monday morning quarterback. What it's like, listen, we had, how long was the time?
40 minutes.
40 minutes. But initially it was, you're only going to be allowed 30, but this guy, he was going. Nope, this is what I had to respect. No calling of you have to ask this, you can't ask this, you can't do this. It was, we're going to go live and we're going to ask whatever we want. Okay, and in all fairness, we did research, we looked at every other podcast. He's been asked every question that the majority of the other side wanted 1,000 times. You wanted to ask a certain amount of questions. The fact that he recognized it, and it's never been recognized. Look at these numbers. And I'm Assyrian, okay? 750,000 Assyrians. And then over there in Mosul, another 10,000. Mosul again in 1892, 3,500 Assyrians murdered, okay? Murdered. And I think that moment, and Adam was there, we were all back here in that back room. It was a moment of shock, because the interview was coming to an end. You went past the 30, and I was like, is he even going to be able to ask this? And when you asked it and there was zero hesitation, I think even who was the Armenian guy today, Pat, Sako. I saw him on the video.
Sako, yeah.
Sako made the video and how happy, and it's like, guys, anything to getting closer to the truth, I think is amazing. And first, my mom called and she's like, I can't believe that he actually made him say it out of his words, because the initial was the Knesset recognized it, but when you said, no, you haven't done it. I think it's holding his foot to the fire, and I loved it.
Well, I'll just be complete full disclosure here. We did a prep to discuss the interview with Patrick and BB, and we were all deciding on topics we want to go over. And I said, Pat, what is your ultimate goal for doing the podcast? And, you know, you talk about we all have our biases. You know, Pat said very selfishly, I have one goal. I want Bibi Netanyahu to recognize the Armenian genocide, straight up. And then from there, we can talk Iran, we can talk Gaza, we can talk United States, we can talk AIPAC, but that was your goal. And I respect the hell out of that because you're Armenian and you're Syrian. So, and I said to you, I have an assumption that he might go along with this. Why? Because what's been preventing this is their relationship with Turkey. And Turkey's in NATO and there's alliances. But here's what we know about alliances and enemies. Yesterday's enemies can become today's allies. You know, the friend of a friend is an enemy and the enemy of an enemy is a friend. Alliances these days aren't necessarily about love. It's about survival and leverage. And that's what's going on in the world. So you have Erdogan right here, who's basically calling Israel a genocidal regime. And usually when someone's saying things like that, they fail to look in the mirror. Because if you look at these stats here from Turkey on the forgotten World War, World War I, everyone's obviously focused on World War II. How many million people died in the Armenian, Assyrian, Greek genocide? Millions? We don't talk about this. World War I is sort of a forgotten war. Everyone focuses on World War II, and I understand why Jews are very sensitive about the Holocaust, 6 million Jews. But the world of geopolitics is a world place, and we're seeing, and this is what's incredible about what we're doing here at Valuetainment. We're not just watching the world change, we're actually effectuating change. We're seeing articles. Patrick Bet-David interviews Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and Benjamin Netanyahu acknowledges Armenian genocide. What? You know, you always say things like, look, we're just business guys doing a podcast here. But the reality is you saw a place in the market that was open for real conversations. We saw on the left it was weird and woke and ideologically corrupt.
Yeah.
We saw on the right that there's a lot of people who are people that are basically distasteful and not exactly welcoming of immigrants, but we're having conversations with people.
I want to say a couple things on this. A couple things I want to say on this is, you know, what I shared last night, I took screenshots. I want you to read a couple of these messages that was sent to me yesterday. Okay?
On X.
On X. Yeah. I want you to, like, this is the kind of stuff that, can you put the camera on Vinny to get his reaction? Okay. These are the types of DMs I got last night.
So,
Actually, read it to yourself. Okay.
I mean, that's there's no. I wouldn't be able to say that out loud.
I can't even. I don't even want to read this.
It's
I don't even want to put this out there. No, I don't even want to put this out.
Death and all that. It's
But
not,
you know what it is, and this is times 100. Okay, and so for me, it's funny because I'm not one that is, you know, sitting here trying to side here, side there. This is my position where I stand. I lived in Iran. I saw what happened. You're not going to be able to change my mind. That's where I'm at. Okay. And, you know, Israel's got 15 million people. These other guys got a couple billion people. These guys have access to a lot more power and bots and influence than these guys do. It's just, they're going to be louder. You can't help it. So they're going to be able to show as if this is a better argument than this. Good luck winning that argument, 15 million to 2 billion. It's not 10x the size. It's 150x, 140x the size is a difference. They're 140 times bigger if you compare the two, okay? That's the audience, 130, 140 times bigger. So you can't be naive and not realize, oh my God, but look, that person's getting this many more retweets. And they got, what is the word? They got, there's a phrase that if somebody puts a tweet below you and they get more, you know, views. Ratio. They got ratio. Yeah, of course that's going to happen. You think if I'm on that side, I'm not going to put 1 million bots to work? There's places there's businesses for this. But if I have someone on that Israel is furious, like let's just say if I have Nick Fuentes on, you know what Israelis are going to say? So disappointed in you. You know, I can't believe you sold out. I can't believe you did this. They're going to say those types of things, okay? And maybe even try to actually get the interview to be flagged, okay? Like when we had Tommy Robinson on Minnect, story came out from the Times. I don't know if you have the story, Rob. Type in the Times. The Times could type in Tommy Robinson, the Times, and Minnect, okay? So they did a massive story, the Times, okay? With the story. They came. I don't know if people know this or not. Instagram blocked the Minnect account from being able to run ads for a year because of this Time story. Tommy Robinson charging $20 a minute out of his personal coach to the far right, the self-styled anti-Islam activist. And this is from UK. They reached out directly to Facebook to have this happen to Minette. Go a little bit low, Rob, if you can go through it. Now, obviously, our lawyers reached out. Everything's getting squared away. But if you go a little bit lower, the attacks they created a fake account on Minette to ask him questions and videos. And if you watch every single one of the videos, there is nothing that he says that's anything major. Our lawyers watch it. Everybody watch it. Go all the way down, and he talks about me and Patrick Bet-David, the founder of Minect, and he's doing this. They're sharing all the Minects publicly, right? Okay. So the UK woke audience wants to get you canceled, okay? Then you got Israel. They may want to get you canceled, but when you say anything that you have Netanyahu on, they want to kill you. Messages like, we're going to find you in the streets and see what we're going to do to you. Who the hell talks like that? Who talks like that? You think a 22-year-old kid learned how to talk like that? Or you think his parents talk like that? You think the guy's father talks like that? Who talks like that at the church? You don't talk like that to somebody. But that's the common thing. So last time when everything's done, we're talking about it. I'm asking you guys, here's what I want to do tonight. I went on Twitter. Rob, if you can go on Twitter, and this is what I did. I said the following. This is my style, guys. I said, I'm officially done for the day. Kids are asleep. Tico went to sleep. We're having a great conversation together. I said, ask me any respectful questions about today's interview with PM Netanyahu. I'll answer any questions for the next 30 minutes. Fire away. I went about an hour. Let's go through some of the questions, Rob, if you can show the bottom. So how much did they pay you directly or indirectly? Zero, not offered, no received. We haven't taken any sponsorship money for 2 years.
That's right.
Both sides like to make claims that influencers get money from Qatar or Mossad. Just argue the ideas and don't be lazy to assume money is related. It's money related. Go to the next one. Patrick, respect for taking a direct time. Gut level questions. You've grilled CEOs for one bad quarter. Netanyahu has had 3 decades of quarters, which any surprises. Fresh body counts. Rob, can you please press show more? Fix. So here's the scale peeler. If a future leak shows the IDF at heart, real-time drone footage, 347 October 7, and still waited 6 hours to scramble, will you book the PM again, look him dead in the eye, and make this recite timestamps? Dead serious, no gotcha tone. You gave me him stage. I'm asking if you'll hold the stage. Okay, here's what I said. That was a question that I wanted to ask, but Trigger Pod did a good job asking it a week ago, so I didn't see a point in asking the same question twice. Thanks for being respectful. Great. Next. Why do you think all the people who tout just ask questions are trying to cancel you for literally conducting an interview and asking questions? I think X isn't for everyone. I don't blame people for getting emotional whenever an interview is done with Prime Minister Bibi, but I prefer a respectful exchange like the one we're having so far. He's an actual genocidal and will go down in the history books as such. Do you feel dirty having hitched your name to this? Not at all. I understand the sensitivity with an active war that's taking place with many innocent lives being taken. Can't stand seeing any of it. Next, let Bibi know there's a ton of people worldwide that support him. And I said, I believe he knows that, but they're losing the digital climate to their opposition. Unfavorability rate is very high according to Pew Research. Why give him the platform? What are the advantages of that? I'm not one that goes to sleep worrying about who I give the platform to and who I don't. I talk to people I'm interested in. This isn't the first time nor the last time people don't like a guest I have on. There will be many more. Why don't you ask him if he would debate opposition like Nick Fuentes? And why don't you press him? Were you intimidated? I said, I've expressed my feeling about Nick and others. Their approach causes high-stakes situations downs to not happen. No one wants to sit down with someone who they know won't have a respectful conversation. He's too capable and talented to use certain words that he does. I think Nick even responded to that. Go in that to see if he jumped into that one or not. Okay, so then go back. Maybe it's a different one. Rob, if you can go back and, okay, as a Christian, as a Christian, how could you do that? You have children. It's painful to see how ugly this was. I lived in Tehran from 78 to 89, saw a ton of things a kid should never see. Breaks my heart and would love to see the whole thing be done. Unfollow, I'll block to make things easier for you.
Good. That was my favorite.
I keep going lower. Does he think his approval rating will improve with Hamas defeat? I'm not sure he's concerned with that. I believe he sees himself as someone that was put on the earth to finish a job on behalf of his people. Agree or disagree, that's how I view his role. Let's see, what else is there? Was anything unrestricted? Restricted? Nothing was restricted. Anything else? Even Nick responded. If there's a Nick responded, I wouldn't even mind reading his if you can find it. Maybe it's lost in the few thousand comments. Anyways, so the point is, I want to have this more often. I don't think X is for everybody. I literally don't think X is for everybody. I think X is a place where a lot of people get, let's see right there. Okay, so here we go. You platform Tate and use the same kind of language. Anyone who has seen my interviews knows I'm cordial and respectful, including on your own network with Adam. It's your prerogative, but I don't think anyone is buying this excuse. And Nick, great to see you here. Tate is half black, half white. His father is black. I believe you're white and Hispanic. He's talking about the N-word. Yeah. I may be wrong. By the way, you are cordial in interviews. Adam actually said that. However, you do get carried away post-interview at times when you react. And then is there a follow-up there? Is that it? Okay, maybe that's it. No, okay, seems like the goalpost is moving. Now the issue is that I'm using the N-word in my reaction. Not necessarily. I actually wouldn't mind sitting down and having a conversation with him. I'm just telling. This is from Nick. Yeah, what I'm saying to him is he's capable. He's able to improve these words. He doesn't need to do it. He would be able to put himself in platforms to debate. This approach doesn't allow you to be wider. It gets you on the smaller, younger guys. But if you want wider, some things need to change in words. What's the chances of a couple of those guys sitting in front row? By the way, even when I sat down with Thomas Russo, how respectful was that guy the way he spoke? Rob, how would you put him in the level of the way he spoke? And you think I sit there and I support the Patriot Front? No. But the guy spoke in a very interesting, respectful way. We had a great conversation together. I'm very comfortable talking to anybody. I grew up in the streets. I'm not uncomfortable with it. But for those who enjoyed it, awesome. For those who didn't and would never want to follow up seeing the interview, there's a few things that Bibi said that he's never said before. One, when asked about Trump, would the Hamas attack happen without, if Trump was the president? That's one. Number two is when asked the question about the finances, because their debt to GDP ratio went from 60% to 75%, they've spent $130 billion on this war. And U.S. only gives them $3.8 billion a year. I think U.S. has given them $30 billion in weapons that they actually have to buy. So it's actually money coming back that they got the weapons. But for the most part, when you're looking at something like, hey, this debt thing, are you going to come back and ask us for money again? Is that going to be taking place? Tom, what was your thoughts? Because I know you watched the interview apparently a couple times. What was your takeaway?
So there's a couple things that stood out to me that were maybe not directly related only to Bibi. His comments about Biden saying, okay, you can defend yourself on October 7th, but don't go into Rafah. No, I don't want you going into Rafah. And then Blinken calling him a week later and saying, Anthony Blinken, the real president, calling him and saying, hey, we told you about the embargo, right? We're going to, you can't go in there. And he said, look, we have to do it. If we have to fight with our fingernails, we have to do it. You're not the one that's at war here. It just showed how much Biden was kind of out to lunch and Blinken was really the guy that was in the back there. Yep. So I saw that. Also, I didn't know, and I looked it up, where he said there are Gazans now fighting against Hamas in their own neighborhoods, and we have helped them. And I looked it up, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Is this one or two guys? Is this three? I wanted to see. And guess what? Multiple sources that are not just the Jerusalem Times were saying that they are arming the individual groups that are out there fighting, and that they're helping the clans, like the Abu Shabab clan, giving them weapons, and like hundreds of guys that are in these clans that are trying to fight for their neighborhoods. I didn't know that. And so I think there was a lot of here, I could sit back and, how do you judge Bibi? How do you not judge Bibi? But when I saw this, there were some things that came out there that he said some things I was able to go research, and I was satisfied that there was, truth behind it. Like I didn't know Gazans were actually fighting for their own area against Hamas and these clans that are armed. Overall, I thought he was pleasant. I thought he was direct. I thought it was a good interview. There's only so much you can do in 40 minutes. And the soapbox at his ex, everybody said, why don't you ask this? Why don't you ask that? Why don't you ask that? I'm sorry, it wasn't a 6-hour miniseries, right? So we can only go so far.
What's great though, Rob, this is the one thing I asked him. I don't know if you guys remember, about 3 months ago. We reacted to this clip, and I wonder what he was going to say. Remember when Trump's like, yeah, we're probably just going to take over Gaza ourselves, and we're going to do this? So watch this reaction. Go ahead, Rob.
He welcomed us.
Certainly with your enemies.
I want to show you this clip. This is a clip of you and the president. You guys are standing right next to each other, and you give a look that you almost didn't know he was going to say this. And this is just personally for myself. I'm curious, did you know the president was going to be saying this? Go ahead and play the clip, Rob.
As far as Gaza is concerned, we'll do what is necessary. If it's necessary, we'll do that. We're going to take over that piece, and we're going to develop it, create thousands and thousands of jobs. And
Beautiful
it'll
jobs.
be something that the entire Middle East can be very proud of. But everybody feels that continuing the same process that's gone on forever, over and over again, and then it starts, and then the killing starts, and all of the other problems start, and you end up in the same place, and we don't want to see that happen. So by the United States, with its stability and strength, owning it, especially the strength that we're developing and developed over the last fairly short period of time, I would say really since the election, I think we'll be a keeper of something that is very, very strong, very powerful, and very, very good for the area, not just for Israel, for the entire Middle East. Very important. And we'll, again, have thousands of jobs.
Can you pause it? You gave a look where you weren't expecting the president to say that, as if it's going to be our land. Were you surprised by what the president said here?
No, actually I wasn't, but I can tell you that he said something else there. He said, and that had surprised the world, and I thought, again, he cut to the chase. He said, why are Gazans locked in this area, which is just used as a base for attack against Israel for its destruction? That's what the de facto Palestinian state in Gaza was. It was a base for Israel's destruction. It has no other purpose. And it lived under this horrible tyranny, this terror tyranny of Hamas. So he said, why not give people a choice? I mean, in other war theaters, in Ukraine or in Syria or in Afghanistan, millions left if they wanted to. In Gaza, they're locked in. Nobody allows them to leave. And he says, give them a choice. If they want to leave, let them leave. And for those who stay, rebuild Gaza. I thought that was actually a very sensible thing. And it's not our goal now to depopulate Gaza and all these other nonsenses that people say. Our goal is to free Gaza, free it from Hamas, free it from Hamas tyranny and terror. And we now have Gazans. I'll bet you don't know this, Patrick. We now have Gazans fighting Hamas. And they say, thank God you're here. They didn't dare do that until the final stages of this. They're joining up with Israel. Gaza Kanaka wants
over Gaza
and invest. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
So you would be okay if America takes over Gaza and it becomes something that we control. You'd be okay with that?
Yeah, but it's an American choice. I don't want to get into that.
But you would be okay with that. So even if America chooses,
look, I'd be okay with any governance that civilian governance in Gaza that doesn't teach its children to annihilate Israel, doesn't pay terrorists. That's what not the Hamas do only. It's what the Palestinian Authority, the other side of the Palestinian people does. They pay terrorists. The more Jews they kill, the more they pay them, and doesn't launch terrorists.
Pause right there. So that was interesting. So Vinny, can you visualize a day where Gaza is a U.S. territory? Do you see that happening?
With Trump, I think anything's possible, honestly. Because like he said, okay, because my thing is this, and by the way, today, and I told Adam, I had to get another key fixed, not fixed, but another key made for my truck, and the guy came out, and he had a Star of David. I'm like, hey, he's like, what do you do here? What are you guys? And I'm like, Valuetainment. He goes, and I showed him, I go, dude, we just interviewed Bibi Netanyahu yesterday. And he's like, what? And he showed it to me. I'm like, yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm not a big fan, but he's like, all we care about the real Israel, like the ones that are protesting in the streets. He's like, we just want our people back. He goes, we want our brothers and sisters back from the freaking the tunnels, and then do whatever you want. But Pat, if you think about it, if Trump's in during it, because I don't know how long this thing is going to last, I could see America having something to do with it because they want security, right? They want to put in a government that's not going to be Hamas. But I think if Trump is gone, it's not going to happen. I don't think that they would do it.
I just want to know from Patrick but David, how does it feel to know that you've interviewed Hitler twice? You've interviewed Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu.
Double Hitler.
You're just out there Hitlering up.
Yeah.
Here's my take on what Bibi, the interview from Bibi. I've said this many times before. Benjamin Netanyahu is the Trump of the Middle East. He doesn't care if you like him or not at this point. He literally doesn't. just like Trump does it. This might be his last term ever. We'll see. He's the longest standing tenured prime minister of Israel. And much like Trump, he's there to GSD, get stuff done. So what he's doing right now is sort of combating the lies, the hate, and the propaganda that's been sullied against the one Jewish state, which he kept repeating. But just look at the results. You talk about people, just look at the scoreboard. Just look at the scoreboard. Yeah, approval ratings are down, but every single combatant that they've played against has lost. Iran is weaker. Syria has been captured. Basically, they're done. The Houthis, let's see what's going on with them. Hezbollah is done. Hamas, what's left of Gaza? And I truly think that Bibi doesn't care what people think. So we can have all the American podcasters and the woke right or the woke left criticize Israel all they want, but you know what they have not done? Effectuate zero policy change whatsoever. Trump and Bibi, it would seem, are tighter than ever. And here's the last point. People are saying, I can't believe you would talk to Bibi Netanyahu. Can't believe you would talk to Tate. Can't believe you would talk to Nick Fuentes. Friends, enemies, get used to one thing here. We're going to have a lot more of these conversations here at Valuetainment.
I want to know, Adam, what you think. Do you think United States would be involved with building and policy change and government, like leadership, putting some, like, I'm trying to figure out how that would look like if America would go there and build and make it into something, not like Vegas. I don't want to be like make it like that, but make it how
without
much
the drinking.
Well, that's what I'm saying is how much involvement do you think, Tom, that the United States could have in Gaza, which I don't know timeline wise, like everything comes down to what? It's the hostages getting back. That's the number one reason Israel could keep doing whatever it's doing because of the hostages. Do you think?
I think if we know anything about
Tom.
Trump,
Go ahead,
he'll just throw something out there and see who bites.
Go ahead, Tom.
Bibi used the word governance.
Yeah.
And he said, but I don't want to get into that. That's U.S. choice. So I think at some point in time, someone has to be kind of the calming force. And this usually happens after natural disasters, not wars. You have natural disasters, but you also have UN peacekeeping forces and things like this to kind of keep people at bay. We have the DMZ that was in North and South Korea. And so the U.S. only has so many territories, and they're island territories that we usually ended up kind of assisting economically. You know, U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, St. John's, St. Croix.
You got Guam, Puerto Rico. You got a few of these places.
Samoa, and the one everybody forgets about, which is the Mariana Islands up there by the Marianas Trench in the Pacific. But those are all things that we did at certain times, kind of helping them out. It wasn't like this kind of a fracas going on. But I could see the U.S. with Trump saying, look, we're going to make investment, but we're also going to put some things in place here to be something of a peacekeeping force if you can't determine it yourself. And there is precedent in the Middle East. Egypt and Israel came together on the Sinai Peninsula after, Egypt attacked, and then Israel pushed them all the way back and further into their land. And so they did come up with a way to kind of create this demilitarized zone. And I think when Bibi says governance, I think he's welcoming the opportunity of someone like a Trump that says, hey, we'll play a governance role, like get the peace and help get this thing on its feet, but I don't see us governing.
You know who I would want to talk outside of Bibi? I'd love to talk to the leader of Hamas, whoever's there. I'm being actually very serious with you. I'd love to go to Gaza. I would love to go to Gaza. We get protection, go to Gaza. I want to see what's going on there. I'd love to talk to the leadership of Egypt and Jordan, why they're not receiving anybody. Even Trump, some people said he begged Egypt and Jordan to take some Palestinians. Rob, can you verify this from telling
Yes.
Did Trump ask Egypt and Jordan to take some Palestinians and they rejected? Like,
that is correct.
Who has agreed to take Palestinians?
Europeans.
Who has agreed? Oh,
Macron.
Good for them. Can you go to ChatGPT, Rob, and just ask that question you just did right there? It's much faster. Yeah.
I can help you out, Pat.
No, hang on. Let me just see it here. I got you. No, but because what I want to do is I want to ask who has interviewed the Egyptian leader or Jordanian leader and ask, why are you not accepting them?
I think the Jordanian
so yes,
king said that he would take in 2,000 sick kids at the most.
President Trump did suggest that Jordan and Egypt take in Palestinians. particularly those from Gaza suffering. And then what happened? I didn't see the last sentence. Here's what. Okay, got it. On January 2026, Trump stated that Jordan and Egypt should take in Palestinians from the war over in Gaza, suggesting it could be a temporary or long-term solution to the humanitarian. He emphasized that Gaza was a mess, and I'd love for you to take on more, addressing Jordan's king with the appeal. He also remarked that U.S. contributed significant aid to both Egypt and Jordan, and although he did not explicitly say he would hold aid, he implied pressure by noting they're going to do it. Jordan, including King Abdullah II and foreign minister, firmly rejected the idea, stating that Jordan is for Jordanians, Palestine is for Palestinians, and that they oppose the displacement. Egypt similarly rejected the proposal, insisting Palestinians must remain on equating displacement. Okay, so have either one of them been interviewed? Can we reach out to both of them? Why are you not willing to take Palestinians?
Well,
have either one of them done a podcast or an interview or long form on why they don't want to receive them? They're neighbors to them. Why don't you receive them? I know Europe is saying yes. Why are they not saying yes? It's a valid question. Who else would it be that would be opposing Bibi there to talk to? Like Vinny, who would you like to see interviewed that opposes Netanyahu?
On the world stage, you mean?
On the world, like
specific in the Middle East. I don't want to talk to anybody else that's not directly impacted by it. I want to talk to people that are there.
I mean,
know the people.
If you could, I don't know who's the leader of Hamas right now.
That's the point. Is that Hamas isn't doing interviews? They're not doing podcasts.
But I'm saying if
they're a terror organization. I know they will send nobody. They hide their faces in masks. They're not there to give interviews.
I got you.
Yeah, but we're just saying if we would want to, that'd be one of them.
Whose side of the argument would you want to hear, Vinny? Whose side? Whose side of the argument would you want to hear? Who would you like to see interviewed and ask questions about this?
MBS.
I was going to say MBS.
MBS is with Bibi.
Saudi.
I'm saying
can you? Yeah.
I'm saying in an interview.
Rob, can you ask MBS, what is MBS's position? Does he defend Palestine or is he shouting his position on Israel, Palestine, Iran? What position does he take? Because MBS does not want what's happening there. MBS wants peace in the Middle East. Yeah. He does not like what Iran is doing.
Exactly.
The Gulf states.
No, he's not. Firm support of Palestinian state. MBS says report emphasizes Saudi Arabia will not normalize relations recognized based on 1979. He condemned Israel's Gaza reaction, and then he changed. While he acknowledges Israel's technological advancement strength from normalization, MBS is leveraging Saudi Arabia's regional influence, positioning the kingdom as a mediator, go a little bit lower after years of rivalry. Relations, the diplomatic has occurred in March of 2023. No, but recently, when he talked about Iran and was condemned, there's a recent interview that happened with MBS about Iran.
Yeah.
That he does not support what Iran is doing. Because even MBS, he's taking a hit on what's going on in the Middle East.
Well, the thing with MBS, if I may, publicly what they say is a lot different than what he's whispering. Publicly, he's going to stand with Palestinians.
I'd love to go to
He
Saudi
is whispering
and talk.
behind the scenes that he's very
MBS.
not much in favor of that.
I mean, like
I'd love to go to Gaza. Tom, who
Erdogan,
else?
Turkey.
I would love you to sit down and talk to El-Sisi, who is the president of Egypt. Because Egypt you go from Sadat to Mubarak. You have a series of presidents there. Yeah, they have their tensions, but that reached the Camp David peace accords. And their Coptic Christians managed to live in Egypt with some persecution, but not getting exterminated that I've seen. If there's articles out there that say something different, okay, I'll go that. But Egypt has seemed to be trying to get its place. And so I'd like to see you talk to El-Sisi. Say, look, you've built you signed the Camp David peace accords. You have a tradition of détente that's dated back and cooperation dated back to Anwar Sadat in 1970s. So it's 50 years now. And
by the way, Sadat was the only one that supported Mohammed Reza Pahlavi to live there when he was in exile.
Yep. And Sadat then paid a cost for it politically.
Yes,
he was assassinated in his own country. President Jimmy Carter went and walked the exact place where he was assassinated and broke down and cried there. And I'd love you to see El-Sisi say, look, you got this big wall, but you got this history of kind of cooperation. Why not one? And you've built, when you talk about building walls, you're at the Olympic level, man. You guys have built a wall.
You know what? I'd love to do that, Rob. Can we put that to the list? I'd love to go to Egypt and see if we can speak with
El-Sisi.
Yeah, I just want to see what is the position of some of the people. And by the way, anybody else that's watching this right now, and you have any other recommendations, go to Connect Circle. By the way, that Connect Circle grew by 1,000 yesterday just to see Tom doing the pushing the weights. If you guys didn't see Tom doing the pushing of 135 pounds,
monster.
And who did more, Vinny, Adam, we went through the whole thing. Go to Connect Circle, make any of the recommendations. There's 3 tiers. There's a freemium that you just get the notes and see what's going on. There's a second tier where you get to comment and network with others. And number 3 is you can do video, anything else you want to do, the full package. But go to Connect Circle and let us know if you have any recommendations on who you'd like to see us interview next on this specific topic. I'd like this thing to stop, but I also think a lot of people are confused because all they see is, where it's such an easy country to hate. It is such an easy country to hate, and the attention doesn't go to what China is doing to Muslims. The attention doesn't go to what's going on in Syria. The attention doesn't go to different places. It's mainly the attention goes to this country.
You're saying Israel's an easy country.
It's constant. Yeah, I mean, the same.
Why do you think that is, though, Pat? Because I have an opinion here.
Tell me.
I'm not sure if you've read your DMs, but the death threats they're growing every single day. So let me give the flip side. I can totally understand why Americans are just sick of talking about Israel. Totally get it. Okay, like Humberto, I think said that he's like, I just want to stop talking about Israel. That's fine. Israel's not asking you to talk about them. The media is doing it. So the Twitter bots are doing it. Nobody wants to talk about Israel here. All right, AIPAC, the control, have that conversation. But here's my question. Israel, they're looking to take over 0 cities. 0 cities. In fact, Israel controls the world. Israel controls America. We're about to have an Islamic communist mayor of New York City. The most Jews in the world outside of Israel, New York, can't even win New York. So there's a population situation. Cities across Europe, are they in jeopardy of being run over by Jews? Is London, is Brussels, is Paris, is Rome, is Oslo, are all these cities going to be governed by Jews? No, it's all going to be Muslims in the coming years. That's a whole conversation that Tommy Robinson can invite. But all these countries that are having issues these days, AIPAC isn't in the UK. AIPAC isn't doing their thing in Australia. Why are all these other countries around the world that don't share the concerns of getting America into war, why do they all have so much anti-Israel hate? Because it's not Israel's getting us involved in wars and it's Bibi that's causing us to do invade Iraq. No, why are all these countries? Could it be that it's just the longest, the most hated, long-standing type of hate in the world? I don't know. I'm asking you guys a question because I see it in America. People are so sick of Israel. I want to understand from a global perspective.
You showed didn't you come up with the chart when we were prepping? Like where's that chart that shows the anti-feelings towards, is it Israel or was it against Jewish people? Do you remember which one it was?
Yeah, the unfavorability.
Yeah. Unfavorability.
Pew Research. It's horrible towards Israel.
Yeah, can you show that, Rob?
Yeah, we showed that to. I showed it to Bibi.
Adam, and I'm just thinking on basic, like where is it coming from?
I'm asking you guys.
I think this is my opinion. I think it's the way of the handling of the war, and bro, that when it comes to war, people are going to be critical. I understand the side.
So you genuinely think it's because of the war?
I think it's because of the war and 100%.
What else do you think it is?
I mean,
because I remember on October 8th, people saying before Israel even attacked that they were going to commit genocide. So before they even fired a bullet, they're going to genocide. So to me, this has all just been brewing underneath, and this is an excuse to hate the Jews again. But okay, other than war, what is it?
Well, I think
because if they stop the war, people are going to go back to liking Israel.
Well, those are the basic things.
What else?
The
war,
AIPAC,
what else?
Is the AIPAC with
that affects America? What else? The world.
That affects them. At the end of the day, Adam, when we talk about everybody else, this is our ally. This isn't just another regular country. So when they do something, America looks like they're bad. So, and for instance, you know me and how I feel about children. I want if there's injured kids, and I want to help those people 100% when it comes to children. But did you see a couple weeks ago, Pat, when Laura Loomer was put them on blast and got Marco Rubio involved, where there was airplanes full of people coming into the United States from Palestine, and guess what? As much as I want to help these people, you're going to let in a group of people whose fathers, brothers, mothers, aunts have been getting killed in Gaza, and then you want to bring them here? How do you think they're going to feel towards America? Because our biggest ally is Israel. That's a dangerous thing to do, because they're going to come in with smiles.
I appreciate that. It's from an American perspective. I'd love to get Tom's perspective. But Pat, let me ask you something. I remember you said something to the effect of like, oh, you want people to stop hating on you? You know a good idea what you could do, Israel? Or Jewish people? Lose.
Oh, no, I didn't
Start
say that.
losing.
You know who said that?
Who
Thomas
said that?
Sowell.
Thomas Sowell said that. Exactly. You're repeating Thomas Sowell.
Yeah.
So, all right, so the Jews control the world. There's 0.02% of the population of the world are Jewish. So in my opinion, a lot of the world are looking for scapegoats because their lives are meaningless, or they're not doing things they want in their life, or they're poor, or they're not rich, or their things aren't going well, or especially in the Middle East, you're supposed to be the chosen people from the last prophet, yet you're in turmoil and misery. Oh, it must be the Jews. So I have news for you. Jews are typically raised with good foundation and good principles and want to learn and want to be educated and want to make money. That is a recipe for success for anybody. Anybody can do what the Jews are doing, but a lot of people won't put in the work. So, Tom, what's your opinion on what all this hate comes from?
So I can't begin to speculate on why each and every country, I looked at that list and I'm like, okay, there's some countries that are very Muslim. Indonesia, okay, I can understand that. There's this because there's a Muslim Jewish schism that's there that goes back.
You think?
I don't understand Japan. I see Japan has got similar data points to Indonesia. I look down this and I'm like, why would Japan have the people feel this way? And I don't have a baseline for it, like a before and after, but I will tell you, in the theater of modern warfare, there is a lot of feeling right now. There's a lot of feeling, and there are a lot of polling and things out there that people feel one way about ideas and they think another way about execution. Yeah. Everybody wanted the border shut in the U.S. Everybody wanted to control immigration. Nobody wanted to see people picked up out while they were picking fruit in a field or from a construction site and shipped out. When people saw execution, like, okay, I was in favor of closing the border, but I don't really like that. And also you've got like the movie Wag the Dog. You get little glimpses on a video that give you emotional responses. Now, it's gone on for a long time, and there's an awful lot of humanitarian stuff that's going on in Gaza. And I see a lot of articles and translated from many different languages, French, German, that are saying, you defending yourself from October 7th, you've gone too far. And I see that. So I don't know where the feeling was before.
Here's Thomas Sowell.
But
Thomas
there's a lot of
Sowell
people saying,
this.
you've gone too far, and I don't like what I see.
I want to show this.
Which is leading too far, leads him to say.
We got it, Tom. So I want to show this. I want to show this, and for you to see this. This is from a few months ago, but this is Thomas Sowell's interview from many years ago. Thomas Sowell hasn't done an interview in a long time. And he's asking about this.
Thomas Sowell, though.
Huh?
You'd love to interview
Thomas Sowell is probably he wrote a book called Reason.
He called the one that I read.
Black
Rednecks.
Was it called Reason, or was it called by the way, the guy is unfreaking believable. He schooled people like you wouldn't believe. Mm-hmm. He was phenomenal.
Reader.
What? Reader. That's
Reader.
one. Thank you, Rob. This is everybody should read the book Reader. I don't care if you're 13 years old or 60 years old. You should read Reader. Watch how Thomas Sowell breaks it down and what he says the last 3 seconds of the interview. Go for it.
Middleman minorities, of which the Jews are the most prominent, the hostility of these people in countries around the world is out of all proportion to that, to any other kind of group I can think of. In terms of violence, the number of Chinese killed, let's say, in 1 year, and by mob action exceeds all the blacks lynched in the entire history of the United States. And the number of Armenians killed in Turkey, during the First World War, is greater than that. And of course, the number of Jews slaughtered on a number of occasions in history, even before the Holocaust, is greater than that. So that the question is, why this particular kind of people are the targets of so much venomous hatred? And I think the answer is that they not only succeed, they succeed in a way which is the threat to the egos of other people. But the guy who comes here, let's say from Vietnam or Korea, and arrives here with little more than the clothes on his back and a few words of broken English, And a decade later, he has his own little business, and you see his son a few years after that getting ready to go off to Harvard or MIT. You got to ask yourself, you either got to, you know, you've got to hate yourself for saying, my God, I've been stagnating. This guy was nothing, and now he's risen up.
So
or you're going to have to hate him. Years ago, one official of one of the Jewish organizations in New York asked me, what can Jews themselves do in order to minimize the hostility they face? I gave him a one-word answer: fail. Because as long as you succeed, you're going to be hated. The middleman might.
Yeah, exactly.
And Thomas Sowell for you.
You know, that is so true about Los Angeles. Growing up in Los Angeles, and first of all, I shared the joy of many friends who are Armenians that I knew from Cal State Northridge and living out there, who told me what the Holocaust was. And then I would go into my world history classes at college, and I asked about, hey, we're covering World War I. What about this? What are you talking about? And I spoke for them, and I brought it up. And in that same Los Angeles, exactly what Thomas Sowell is talking about, I saw. I saw it with the Koreans that protected their own businesses during the Rodney King riots, and we saw the vitriol toward the Japanese and the Koreans in Los Angeles. And all they did was come over here, and exactly as Thomas Sowell said, they succeeded, they built a business, and suddenly other people in the community didn't like them or thought that, you know, that wasn't fair like this. And they used to make jokes about UCLA. Oh, it's University of Californians living among Asians. It's really, what's so terrible about a kid doing well on an SAT and being able to get into UCLA? I don't understand. And UCLA had this over-index of Asians. Why? Because all these people were succeeding in LA, and they wanted to send their kids to a good school. They got in-state tuition. They sent them to UCLA. What Thomas Sowell is saying, I saw in Los Angeles as I was there over 50 years and seeing people grow up, and I see it. And it wasn't a black-white thing. I saw it in other races.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, that's Thomas Sowell for you. And for me, I like to listen to people that emotion is low, reason is high. And Thomas Sowell breaks things down in a very reasonable way. And by the way, this still doesn't mean I have to support what's happening to Palestinians. This still doesn't mean I have to support what's going on there with the war. This still doesn't mean I have to support any of that stuff. It just means I have to find a way to not allow all these emotional, and by the way, if you're Muslim, you got 2 billion people. Who do you think has a monopoly on social media? Who? Jews or Muslims? And then those 2 billion people that are messaging, and they're able to recruit others, because the average person is going to be like, wow, this guy gets this many retweets. That guy gets this. He must be right. He must be this. But you have to be able to step back and sit there and say, I don't support what's going on here. You know, I like yesterday, the video with, what do you call it, when they shot up the hospital, that Bibi had to come back and apologize. And then after a first shot, they shoot the second one. And you see the video. I don't have to support that. Okay, this clip right here, we don't have to show it to the public, Rob, so make sure the people in the back are not doing it. The guy's flipping them off, right? They're talking to their own people. They're fixing this place. And then within seconds, boom, gone, right? Wow. This is the nasty part of war. But watch what this does to the average person. This is all they see. And they say, wow, how bad. This is terrible. War is nasty on both sides. It's not for the emotional, wary. It's not for the average person. And the only difference today that we're living, 20 years ago, you wouldn't see these clips. Today, it's everywhere. And so guess what? To all the emotional people, it's so easy to hold them hostage and to keep them forever and to get them to hate somebody else. When I was in school, everybody liked me. I was a regular guy. All the kids went to universities. All my friends went to colleges. I'm the only guy that didn't go to a college. And my friends would say, parents, be careful with Patrick. Divorced family, be careful with them. Trouble. So guess what? I couldn't even get into a community college, Glendale Community College. I joke about it. Obviously, I went there and I got GOV, whatever that was, the benefits they're giving you, you know, Gov, all these things that, obviously for the government, you can do this. Eventually, I joined the Army. I come out. My friends are like, oh, it's okay. It's going to be okay. This is Patrick. It's going to be okay. He's not going to do anything big in his life. The moment I won a little bit, I'm like, hey, made 6 figures. What's he doing? Well, you know, it's just 6 figures. He doesn't have a degree. He doesn't have a degree. And then I made $250,000. And then I made $1 million. And the next thing you know, all the same people who were feeling sorry for me when my parents got through a divorce, and they were all happy, and their parents were married, and their parents told them stay away from that guy. Now they're all saying things behind my back. Wait a minute, we were best friends. Why? Because I was not the one that was supposed to make it. And then it's, oh, he made it because of this business. Oh, I would never make the money the way I would never. Oh, now you're tarnishing. Okay, great. Then you know what I realized? Look, I have a choice. Win for the people that matter in my life and allow the people that have worked with you to know how you are, or go out there and try to please the people that you're never going to win over. I have no desire to be part of this camp.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're held hostage, you conform, you're in prison. You don't even know it. You will never win an election here. This is not the election I'm trying to win. I'm trying to win this election. You ought to make that decision for yourself as well. I'm going to wrap up. We got to go because I got a meeting too. I know you want to say a couple words as well.
I just wanted to ask you a question. But yeah. Simple question. How often do you read the Bible?
I've been reading Proverbs this week. And I've just been, I couldn't put it down. I'm like, I need Proverbs right now. I'm just going through it right now.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going through Proverbs right now.
The reason I asked that, because I know Vinny's been reading it. I know Tom has been reading it. You know, I had that epiphany. I was like, the Bible is really just the Old Testament, the 5 books of Moses, and the New Testament. Here's my opinion. I was actually speaking with Rabbi Benny. I said, here's what I've noticed.
Vinny?
Benny.
Oh, Benny.
Okay.
They said Vinny. Rabbi
Vinny, that'd be great. Coming soon.
Do it
Here's
fast.
what I've realized.
I got a meeting in 3 minutes.
People that study the Torah turn out to be, for the most part, way more learned and scholarly and have way more principles. People that read the Bible, in my opinion, become way more righteous and virtuous. On another note, people that read the Quran and read it literally become way more radical and extremist and practice jihad. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. And stats validate some of it.
We call them radical clerics.
Yeah.
I don't know about radical. I've never heard radical Catholic priests, radical Protestant ministers or pastors or radical Jewish rabbis, but somehow we now have a lexicon that includes radical clerics.
Tom, let me tell you, Tom, as much as we're talking the way that we are, there is a massive, loud population that's against it. Yeah. And the people are afraid of losing that audience. And I'm not. I don't wake up in the morning trying to win audience over. I'm going to be myself long term, and if you like it, you don't, you don't. And I'm going to call out anybody and everybody if I don't like it. But, man, to the emotional few, read. To those of you that are watching this because you're hate watching, you're not like watching, keep coming back. We enjoy it. We don't mind it at all. As long as you respect. Adam said something to a guy the other day on Manek. He says, you know, and the guy pushed you a little bit on Manek. I don't want to say the guy's name, but he said something. He's like, nobody likes you. And that's not true. I actually like the guy. He said, he send me exactly what was. I'm like, no, wait a minute. I like this guy. I like talking to this guy.
Yeah.
And we have back and forth. I don't have any problem with even talking to haters. I have one basic rule. It's a very simple rule with me. Just be respectful. If you're respectful, you disagree, we're going to be okay together long term. Guys, we have a lot of podcasts that haven't come out that we have shot. Yesterday, I shot a couple podcasts. Some of them are going to come out. For everybody else that's coming here tonight, I cannot wait to see y'all here tonight. To those that are coming to the networking event, Rob, if you can put the link below again for the last people that want to get the ticket and come down. We cannot wait to meet many of you here tonight at the camp, especially the founders and CEOs, for me to give you a tour, and afterwards, going to the Boardroom Cigar Lounge. We'll do it again on Friday. God bless everybody. Love y'all. Bye-bye.